Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Hold on, the camera kind of foggy. Hold on, the camera, guys, give me a second. Give me a second. This camera's not clear. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. There we go. We're good now. Everyone, thanks so much for joining In Search of Uhuru. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I am so happy to see you all, even though I can't see you all. But, you know, I'm happy that you guys are here somewhere in the internet verse, here today, watching In Search of Uhuru. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I am so thankful, y'all. The year is almost over. The year is almost over. 2025 is almost over. We about to hit 2026. It went by fast, or as T.I. would say, expeditiously, something like that. But hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Show some love. Got a couple of announcements, y'all. We're rolling to Sierra Leone on Saturday. Next Saturday, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. If you last minute, if you want to join us, if you want to come have some adventure in Freetown and in Bo and local Masama, visit Danfo.Africa. Again, visit Danfo.Africa. That's DANFO.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo.Africa to learn more. We will love to host you all again. We will love to host you all in Sierra Leone. Also, we're going to Cape Town in South Africa for the Jazz Festival. That's in March 25th through April 2nd. March 25th through April 2nd. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. Then we're going to Senegal in May for another Jazz Festival. That's May, what are the dates for that? May 9th through the 18th. May 9th to the 18th. Then we're rolling to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. That's August 9th through the 18th as well. Then Zanzibar in September. That's September 20th to 29th. And then we're going to do a 2-for-1er. That's going to be, what's a 2-for-1er? Ivory Coast and Ghana. That's going to be in November. So if you're interested in joining us, please visit donfo.africa. Again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit donfo.africa. Without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. Nigeria, my beloved country of Nigeria, is in some wahala. Not only do we have problems in the north, now we're on we're sending fighter jets, we're scrambling fighter jets like Top Gun. We got Nigerian Top Gun now. And Benin Republic helping putting out coups. And then on top of that, now we're flying over airspace. And the story is, though, we were talking about this yesterday. We were like, how, if you're going to Benin over down here, how do you end up there in Burkina Faso? So now Nigeria has came out with the argument that they were headed to Portugal to service their aircraft, which leads me to another question. All these smart Nigerians can't service an aircraft in Nigeria. Someone help me out. You have to fly your military C-130 aircraft all the way to Nigeria, and it breaks down in Burkina Faso to get service. I need to get some military, ex-military Air Force personnel chime into the chat. Like, explain that one for me. You already know your plane has problems. So you want to risk it by flying your problematic plane that needs service to Portugal. And during that, your plane has to have an emergency landing, and you happen to land in Burkina Faso airspace without the permission. But the good news is the soldiers, I believe, have been released. It was like 2 pilots and 9 soldiers, 11 of them altogether, and they've been released. But that just doesn't add up. But again, I don't know. I'm not a military guy. I have no desire to join the military. Well, I take that back. I'm going to say I kind of do have a desire to join the military. Because like all my friends I know in the military, they all claim disability. So it's like I could join the military here in America, have a ingrown toenail or stub my toe, claim disability, and now I'm paid for the rest of my life. So I get it. I get the military hustle. I ain't mad at you. Well, were they carrying logistics, or they were saying that let's pull up the official story. Let's pull up the story. But like I said, it doesn't. I don't. But again, I never served in the military or the Air Force. You know, maybe some of y'all have. And this is interesting. So, Burkina Faso saying one thing, and the Nigerian Air Force is saying something else. So here we go. Let's play this. This is TVC News Nigeria. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
Now, the second part of this conversation, I mean, the Nigerian Air Force talk about the situation in Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
The Nigerian Air Force has denied that its aircraft was grounded by Burkina Faso. What do you make of this denial and, you know, the whole situation in general? The Burkina Faso authorities are saying one thing, the Nigerian Air Force
let me say
what's
that.
going on?
In addition to what is said, when you look at the trend, is the French-speaking West African countries that is more at least.
Yeah.
Just watch it around. You'll see that the English-speaking were more at rest than they are. That's one. Now the Air Force issue. The truth is this. The media reacts based on available information.
Okay.
The first statement that came from Burkina Faso through their AES, the body binding them now after the pull out of ECOWAS, was the fact that this aircraft flew into their territory unauthorized. And they have the C-130 and they have the crew members. The much that I know is the fact that we don't have any business in that country to warrant a C-130 going in there.
Okay.
That much I know. But we had to wait the whole of yesterday to get information. It was not until this morning that the Air Force said something. And for me, that was rather too slow.
It wasn't good enough.
It wasn't good enough. You know, we say all of these things. When things happen, because if this aircraft had left the country unauthorized, it had left Nigeria unauthorized, maybe you say you are unable to trace it. But an aircraft that is going on a mission for you to Portugal, and then something happens to it, you cannot react within 5 minutes. Clearly, that is not good enough. No matter the command structure you want to go through to get permission or authorization to speak, that was damn too slow. And I think we should watch it. I was convinced, seriously, that nothing will happen to any of those guys. Even if it was the fact that they were detaining them, we would have brought them out.
Yeah.
So these ragtag armies and countries can't do anything to our own.
Do not get a consolidation loan until you see this. Hey, Mario Lopez here, and if you're thinking about getting a consolidation,
People. I was that confident, but the response rate, was too slow. We're just talking about the Senate giving quick approval. That's just it. Everybody can see a need, except those who don't see good in anything.
Hey, y'all, shout out to Eddie West Young Lion. He's back, y'all. He's back.
For that move that Nigeria made.
Thank you for $9 holler.
We didn't have a
AES.
choice.
This is greater
We
than
signed the
Ikunwa.
That will provide those kind of services. The president has a right to initiate and come back for approval, which he did. And the Senate, knowing that this is a serious matter, gave its approval. That's the way we should also have respect.
And that was the argument yesterday. Like the North, there's problems in the North. Maybe we should focus on what's going on in northern Nigeria. Again, maybe we should focus on what's going on in northern Nigeria. Because the way those planes scramble so fast. In fact, I was listening to something yesterday, an interview yesterday. I'm sorry, a podcast yesterday. And they were saying that it wasn't necessarily Nigeria that scrambled, put their planes in the air over in Benin. That it was France, who their fighter jets were the ones that neutralized the coup plotters.
Responded within minutes to what happened in Burkina Faso. That was quite unlike the military I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years. Very quite unlike it. And the Air Force should take the blame for this, for putting the country on the edge, because a lot of people are bothered for the men who are there.
It could cause diplomatic
row. So we should, okay, this is what has happened. Even if these people feel that they want to, like the language on the street, do some bragado. we should have quickly said, no, that's not true. This is what has happened, because that statement is contrary completely to what the Air Force has told us.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect somebody who is in an emergency. When you are flying over a country,
Yes.
there is a level to which you are going to come low, for which that country must know you are within its airspace. You couldn't have taken off from Nigeria and not be that up in the air, not to affect anything in Burkina Faso. Does it mean that when you are now traveling, you must now keep informing all countries along your route that you are traveling? No.
No.
That was a very stupid statement that the AES issued. It should tell you.
No. Hold on. Now, I'm not a pilot, but I think when you enter a country's airspace, you have to let them know that you enter their airspace. I don't know about this. I don't know about this, what he's saying. I don't agree. I think when you enter a foreign country's airspace, you have to let them know that you're entering their airspace. Hold on. Yeah, that's not adding up, what he's saying.
How myopic those who constitute themselves. That's why I said we watch it. It's along the French corridor.
See, in addition to that, I think what happened is just part of the media blaze that the Burkina Faso president has embarked upon. You know, there have been so many things in the social media that he has done this, he has done that. Some of those things are AI generated, but people don't get. They say, he has built this, he has built that. He's following the steps of Sankara and the rest of it. He has done this. Look, what happened is simple. No matter what is going on in airspace agreement, even if it is an enemy country, assuming it's a terrible enemy country, and an aircraft of a country is flying along that road, and it is the nearest, as long as they communicate with that country that we are in distress, the world flying, I don't know what they call it, the flying rule, aviation rule allows that. They should allow that craft to land for safety reasons.
For safety reasons.
When that has been done, of course, as he has said, it's one of those braggadocios that, we have captured the aircraft of the giant of Africa and so on and so forth. And then our military, as they used to be in the past, they must be ready to respond to issues fast.
All right, we have Adekunle calling in from Abeokuta. Adekunle.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, this is Adekunle from Abeokuta.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please, I want to encourage people to watch journalists hangouts, because the thing, when you listen to people or you have conversation with them, the way they argue, in fact, it will be like. But whenever I listen to journalist hangout, that is the place where I get my facts concerning this issue of what happened in the Republic of Benin and the prompt response of Mr. President to send troops to that place. You know, we have had conversations everywhere. But what you hear from people is there is insecurity in Nigeria. We have not think that the president is sending troops to the Republic of Benin. I don't know how the thing correlates. I don't really understand. So, but the people that you hear that from are not people that listen to news. They are not people that listen to journalists like a program like journalist hangouts. So I want to give it to you that you guys are really doing. Best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
What Adekunle just said, now I was in the bank one day when one man approached me, when we discussed the PDP issue here. And I said, by the time we are getting close to 2077, we won't find any governor seeking re-election on that platform. He said, how will I say that? I said, just watch it. He said he's going to call me when it happens. He has still not called me.
We are still going to talk about the PDP, but still talking about, just to round up this conversation before we go on break. Democracy is under threat. in the sub-region.
Yeah.
We can't overemphasize it. Now, ECOWAS. What should ECOWAS be doing to protect democracy?
And the question I asked yesterday, why doesn't ECOWAS intervene with what's going on in northern Nigeria or the AU? Why not?
In the sub-region. You talked about sit-tight leaders.
He said it
apart
all.
from boots on ground,
He said
what
it all.
should they be doing?
He said it all. In fact, in the few minutes he spoke, he said it all. It is not only about sitting tight, it is also about doing the things that will uplift your country. A lot of these guys get in there and all they are doing is stealing the country blind.
Yeah.
Look at Sierra Leone. What kind of development have you seen there? And the people.
Hey, don't hate on my country. Don't hate on my country of Sierra Leone. We getting it together, okay? In fact, we're going to Sierra Leone next week, next Saturday. But don't hate on my country. We trying to get it together, okay? It's been a slow process, but it's coming. We gonna make Sierra Leone great again.
People are complaining.
Sierra Leone catches strays now.
Let's read in between the lines what former President Goodluck Jonathan said about Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah.
Have you read in between the lines? To see that the man on the throne planned that coup in order to ensure that he's not removed. How do you do that to your country? How do you do it to your country? Why don't you get there with the sole aim of doing well? You will get it right at some point. Like it is happening in Nigeria now.
Yeah.
President Bola Tinubu came in. He did a few things. We felt that was too much of an ambition.
Yes.
But now we are beginning to see that something is happening.
The fruits.
If we don't see those fruits, we would have held him to account.
Yes,
Now we are saying it.
But all right.
Other African leaders should take cue. Their countries must develop. It is not about being in power in perpetuity. It is about doing what will make the country grow.
Gentlemen, we need to go on this quick break. And when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away.
Never sue the other driver after a...
Guys, I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat room. If you guys want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. But it's two sides to the story. Let's see here. Trahaka 3897. Thank you for $5 It was a test run by France to see how the AES will react if another country breach their airspace. Okay. Hold on. I don't know. The focus is kind of off. There we go. But yeah, but from my understanding, this is where I disagree with one of the panelists. If you fly in a foreign country's airspace, you got to let them know. Again, if you fly into another country's airspace, you got to let them know. But links in the chat room. If you want to call in, you can call in. We'll take a quick commercial break.
Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Downful, Africa. To learn more, visit downful.africa.
Go ahead, Castro.
Peace, Dynas. Can you hear me okay?
Be loud and clear.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to add on to the conversation by saying I think Nigeria was in the wrong for violating the airspace of Burkina Faso, AES, also known as AES. I think Nigeria was wrong for clicking up with France to quell that coup. And they can't deal with the bandits in the north. Or I believe that they can deal with them. I just think that because the president of Nigeria is always Muslim, he always comes from the north. I think that they see these bandits as their brothers and not actual terrorists. So it's almost like Nigeria is working against the best interest of the whole of Africa. That's what I'd like to put.
Okay. Shout out to Jughead. Thank you for the 10 pounds. As a Nigerian, I am disgusted by Nigeria's actions. So that fool Tinubu has time to bomb Benin, but that fool Tinubu has no time for the Arab devils that are selling black people in slave markets in Libya. What are your thoughts?
I'm sorry. I want to. Yeah, there are people being sold in slave markets in Libya. That's been happening since they smoked Gaddafi back in 2011. So
Right.
when I come across these Africans who always like bigging up Gaddafi. Oh, Gaddafi was the leader of Africa. He was Pan-African. Gaddafi was a self-proclaimed Pan-Arab. He said it in the Green Book. He used Pan-Africanism at being opportunistic. Basically, he was going to use Africa to leverage it against the West so that the Arabs would accept him again. The slavery was going on when Gaddafi was there. He was just sweeping it under the rug. So when he got ousted, when he got killed, what was being swept under the rug, it came to the light. So I just think it's real weird how Africans choose their religion over their brothers. But it's like we do it everywhere. You got niggas over here in the NOI who won't fool with you if you're not NOI.
I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. You notice that Muslims are very quiet about what's going on in northern Nigeria?
Man, you can hear a mouse piss on cotton, can't you?
Or they're very apologetic.
And not just that, I heard it's not just one terrorist insurgent group. It's not just Boko Haram. Boko Haram has another terrorist group that they're going against. And they all just up there raising terror. They all just up there raising. I don't understand. I do. I honestly believe that the Nigerian government is complacent with Boko Haram. Like they got that rehabilitation program. So you telling me that someone can go from blowing people up to being a police officer?
Well, hold on, Kasha. Let me interject real quick. So from what I read yesterday, they were integrated back into society. If that makes sense.
It don't make sense because I don't understand how you can integrate a terrorist who's killed people. Like they do suicide bombings up there in northern Nigeria where they strap bombs on little kids and they send a kid over there to blow them up. Like I don't understand how you can rehabilitate something like that back into society and they become functional members of society without looking down on the people and seeing how they can exploit the normal everyday going people. That doesn't make any sense. So that goes back into what I'm saying. They seeing these people as brothers. You know how that Islam thing is. Brother, brother, brother. But everybody else is something else. Everybody else is not your brother. So, hey, Nigeria is looking real bad right now. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, go ahead, Jughead. Jughead, we can't hear you. Jug,
While Jilla can't get his mic together, you
go
got
ahead.
people in the comments talking about Gaddafi didn't have slave markets. Can you prove that Gaddafi did not have slave markets? Because slavery does not magically fall out of the sky when this dude gets ousted. That was going on while he was there. He was sweeping it under the rug. People don't just wake up one morning like, hey, all right, we're not doing well. Let's go and slave somebody. That don't make any sense. So the people who would try to escape to Europe, they would often go through Libya. If they were detained by Gaddafi and his forces, they would literally be put into slavery. You got several accounts of this. Are you going to ignore those accounts?
Let's see here. Tinga BC, go ahead.
Oh yeah, how y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. Yeah, this is a disgrace. Tanibu is a drug dealer. What do you expect? He been working with the feds ever since they caught him selling drugs. This is just run of the mill puppy behavior. They people are trying to play devil's advocate, saying it's a coincidence. This ain't no coincidence, bro. They doing reconnaissance. They're trying to strategically surround Burkina Faso and invade, bro. They just posturing right now. Dude working with Macron. I'm not trying to hear nobody else come up here and try to justify what he's doing, bro. Tanibu is letting the North run amok in Nigeria. He's with them. He's in cahoots with the Northern elites, man. Anybody that comes over here trying to defend him, bro, is a sellout as well. Like,
What you think about that, costume?
I couldn't agree more with the brother. I believe Tanibu, and not just Tanibu. We ain't ostracizing dude, but it's really every leader. Buhari wasn't no better. I don't think Buhari was any better. Any of those leaders that sit up there in Nigeria, they're always Muslim. That rubs me the wrong way. Why? And I understand that the population, the Hausa is the dominant population. Like most of the population is actually Hausa. But eh, like at some point, you got to have some representation from the other major tribes, like the Yoruba or the Igbo. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like corruption keeps these Nigerian Muslim elites in power. I would agree with the brother on everything he said, though. Yeah.
but
Well,
it's really
go ahead, Ting Boxer. Go ahead.
it's really not even the Hausa. The Fulani they just bullying the Hausa, bro. All this stuff is Fulani, bro. Like they rule the North, bro, for real. And the numbers really, you can't really trust the numbers because they not really taking no real sense. They be doing a lot of gouging with the numbers, bro. But I'll let brother Elvis speak.
Go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you, guys. Thing,
Elvis,
Nigeria is directly.
Elvis, you sound real muffled. Like,
Are you getting me better?
Elvis, you must be on a Getro because your speakers is like this. This ain't like Elvis. Your speakers is messed up, Elvis. But go ahead. All right, go ahead, Tinga BC. Yeah, Elvis, you must be on one of them Obama phones that was it Tim Watts? Is that the governor in Minnesota? that he be giving away, Elvis. That's what you on right now, Elvis. We can't hear you. All right, go ahead, Tinga BC.
Yeah, I mean, just not. I really don't. It really don't make any sense. Like I don't understand how they are letting these people just go around really in the North and just destroy Nigeria. Like, but that's going on all over the continent. These Islamized wannabe play rabs are going around trying to do what they did in the North. They trying to come and encroach more and more, take more land in the South, bro. And like I feel bad for the civilians because most of them are not armed, so they really just sitting ducks. And these puppets are just letting them get their land took. They unstable. Like they in a forest. Like man, I feel really bad for them, man, for real. If I could go help them, I would.
Elvis, you got your connection together. You there, Elvis? Okay. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like. Hit that. Go ahead, Casanova.
Everybody on their Obama phone tonight, huh, bro?
Nah, well, Elvis is definitely on his Obama phone. I know a Obama phone when I hear one. That's that Tim Ross special up there in Minnesota. That's what that is.
I would say I've had my criticism of Trahori and AES because they started the whole coup under the pretense that they have been battling the Islamic jihadists for about 10 years and they haven't seen any ground. They haven't gained any ground with France. So they kicked out France and they brought in Russia, another white person, another white country. I've had my critique because they haven't been able to really quell these jihadists in Burkina Faso. I'm hearing that they're growing stronger. I'm hearing that their numbers are going up, But I would like to say that if there's ever like a situation where Nigeria has to go to war with AES, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get funds over to AES just to work against Nigeria. And not just Nigeria. I'm not on Nigeria. Ghana, Senegal, and every other country in ECOWAS, because these countries represent basically holding back Africa. They are in cahoots with the Europeans. They follow orders from the Europeans. That's why Nigeria got fighter jets in the sky for Benin, but they can't do it for the bandits in the north.
But they willingly arming the bandits in the north. That's what I'm saying. It's strategic. They letting it happen. Like Tanibu is in cahoots with the elites in the north. It's a land grab. They doing what the Sokoto Caliphate tried to do.
I agree 100%, bro. Is Tanibu Islamic? Is he Muslim?
I don't think so. I think he's Christian. He's Yoruba though.
Okay.
But he's not Islam.
It's beyond religion with him though. It's about money, bro. And
Okay.
he's a Western puppet, like literally. And so after he got caught with selling heroin, bro, he's been working with the United States government, bro.
Hey, allegedly.
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 No, but it's facts that he definitely got caught selling heroin. That's facts.
Well, what was interesting to Kabisi, they were supposed to release the files earlier this year, but something happened. They were literally supposed to release the files, but then it just is Tinubu Muslim? I didn't know that. I thought he was Christian. Okay, well he's Muslim. Yeah, they were supposed to release the files. They were supposed to release the files earlier this year, but then they just stopped.
Yeah, it's easy to see. Like that's CIA play number one, bro. You get somebody rolled, catch them doing something, and now you got them for life. But I mean, that's just the average person. Like dude said earlier, it's easy to get somebody of us that's gonna sell out. You got enough paper, but like I said, and you can't really hold Traore to account for not being able to completely eradicate Burkina Faso or jihadists, bro. He's being like, you got to look at the area where he's at, bro. Like they have it's myriad of entry points for rebels to come in. Like in order, like you have to have extreme air support in order to really secure your borders like that. And they don't got that, so they just working what they got. And as far as him landing with Russia, bro, he gotta get the most up to date weapons, bro. Like it is what it is, and even manpower.
Hey, bro, I agree, bro. I'm not being overly critical of Traore. I'm just going off of what he said he was why he said he was doing the coup and everything. And this is why I really wanted this coup to fall through in Benin, because I wanted to see what AES could do with direct access to a port. I really wanted to see that. So like if we got to do it another way, then let's do it another way. But I really want to see them thrive. I really want them to be an example for all of Africa to look to.
Facts. All right, go ahead. A City of Truth. Go ahead.
Well, look, I'll say this, Diane, and yeah, of course, the situation in Nigeria is unfortunate, and what's going on between Nigeria and Burkina Faso, and of course, Tinubu, who is the president of Nigeria, is compromised, and it's documented that, um, he was a Western puppet because he was a drug dealer back in the day, and so what I mean. It's just a very unfortunate situation that's just going on right now. But as far as like Traore, I think from what I've seen from Traore, I believe to him to be a very good, very a strong leader. He's also a very intelligent man. Remember, he's a military man. He has military training. Okay, and yes, he is working with Russia, but to address the other gentleman who was saying that he kicked out France and he brought in Russia, which is another white person. Well, who else is he supposed to work with? I mean, you need to understand how geopolitics works. And in geopolitics, you have to make these types of deals and stuff. And what it is Russia is giving Burkina Faso a far better deal than France ever did. France, they wanted all kinds of control in Burkina Faso. They wanted to control the minerals and the economy and stuff. And of course, Traore said no, and he took a stand against it. And so he's doing a lot of good work with Russia. But I think with Russia, Burkina Faso is very fortified, though. They're getting all types of technical expertise, and stuff, from Russia to help them defend, their situation and that whole type of thing. So, and as far as can someone fill me in on the coup? Like what coup was Traore trying to launch a coup in Nigeria, or like how did that whole thing go down?
No, he wasn't trying to.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead, brother.
No. Take a piece. Go ahead.
Nah, he wasn't trying to launch no coup in Nigeria. It's Nigeria just, and it's not just Nigeria. They're being an ECOWAS aligned country. Their stance on coups is negative. So any coup that again months ago there were talks about the ECOWAS countries interfering with the AES alliance. Well, yeah, he hasn't directly did anything to Nigeria. They're just puppets.
Okay, so what's going on tonight? I mean, I know Tinubu is there anyone trying to challenge him in Nigeria? Was there a threat to his power or something? Or
nah, it's the only thing that he has to do with anything.
Well, Chickabisi, actually, a couple months ago there was an attempted coup, and they arrested several coup plotters a couple months ago in Nigeria.
No, but I'm saying like in regards to Traore, he didn't have nothing to do with that. But the only connection that they have to or impetus they have to interfere with the AES is them being an ECOWAS nation and they stance on coups. But the ECOWAS they're all puppets for the West. Ouattara is as well. It's not just Tinubu.
okay. Well, look, and I'll say this. But as far as the whole thing goes, is the thing about especially the situation in West Africa is that France is trying to get back up into West Africa, and they're trying to come heavy. But I mean, you got the Russians there. The Russians are competing with the French, but then you also have a bunch of private contractors and mercenaries from all over the world out there. So, in terms of that, and and as far as Dynas, one thing you might want to consider, Dynas, because I know you're a, you're Pan African. I'm a Pan African too. But one thing that you might want to consider is getting some brothers who are Pan African, and maybe y'all, we can get together and we can make our own. We can go out and do some training, and maybe we can make our own. PMC, private military contractors, so that we can go over there and have some kind of footprint. Because that might be what might have to happen. I mean, you got everybody else over there making money. I mean, if Traore feel is under threat, you got a lot of Black Americans that support Traore. If he's under threat, get some brothers together and train them up and offer your services to Traore and say, we'll help protect, your country. We can send you some fighters. They're well trained, and you can get some ex-military people, involved and stuff. So we'll have ex-military expertise and go over and do the thing, man. Because it's like when we sit here and talk about this stuff, it's like we just on the sideline. We're not really in the game. And in order to make change, you might have to get in the game. But I'm gonna land right there. Whoever wants to have any thoughts on that?
No, I agree with that, but that I wouldn't speak on that on the internet though. But yeah, I mean, definitely, it's a lot of people that's galvanized, but again, that's not enough. But you can help financially though. I know the ADDI is working in close tandem with Burkina Faso through an administrative role. But yeah, it's really just I just feel bad for when it comes in Nigeria's point. I just feel bad for the civilians, man, because like I said earlier, they really just sit ducks.
Yeah, guys, links in the chat room if you want to call in and add to the conversation. Click on a link again if you want to call in and add to the conversation. You're more than welcome. Click on the link. So where do we go from here, you guys? Do you think everything's cool in Benin now? Like, what do you think is gonna go on?
Nah, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's not over. I think I mean it'll be quiet for a little period of time, but I think somebody's gonna do something again.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cause that's how it be. It be an underplay for the overplay.
Well, I say this. I think that I mean, that might be something you might want to consider, Dynas. I mean, there's other people that I was talking to, but it's when you look at because everyone talks about Nigeria, and maybe at this point it might be good if Nigeria splits up, because I've heard for years about Nigeria splitting up. You're gonna have to split up Nigeria. Maybe it'll be a good thing, because it seems like Nigeria they're always just so compromised, especially with Tinubu, being being what he is, and that dude, he seemed like he got like this grip on power. It's like when, you know what I mean? It's like when people try to vote him out, he sends soldiers on the streets and intimidates the voters and stuff. It's, you know what I mean? It's like they got a hold on this dude. This dude, he got a hold on the country, man. It seems like it's gonna be real hard to get rid of him.
Sandman, go ahead, Sandman.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Thanks for letting me on there.
No problem.
Yeah, I just checking in on the live stream, and I hadn't heard what you guys were talking about prior. But from my understanding, Nigeria, and I'm not sure if Burkina Faso as well, they both have joined BRICS. Is that true? Did y'all address that situation?
No, that's a different topic. We weren't talking about BRICS.
Well, it just so happens that, all of these conflicts that's going on, because, the Trump administration had threatened Nigeria with a military action shortly because of the persecution that was going on with the Christians in this country. And it just so happens that Venezuela, Nigeria, and I believe Burkina Faso as well, they've all joined BRICS. And you wonder if this is some sort of a geopolitical strategy to take power away from the rivaling powers in China and Russia. What do you guys think about that situation? Maybe
I'm reading. So Nigeria is not a full member of BRICS, of the BRICS bloc, but was admitted as a partner country. I don't know what a partner country is. So
yeah, and both Venezuela, Nigeria, and I believe Burkina Faso as well, also of our rich and.
I don't think Burkina Faso is even a partner. Let me see. Let's see here. I could be wrong. Let's see here. They're not even a partner country.
Okay.
When it comes to Venezuela, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I know Venezuela and Nigeria are both rich in oil. So I know the Trump administration has been talking a lot about, improving our resources when it comes to control of a lot of the natural resources. He just signed an agreement in between Rwanda and the Congo. And we know those two countries are right on top of a lot of natural resources too. So you're wondering if these geopolitical strategies or, military actions by the largest military powers to take control of a lot of the natural resources, being that our world is changing so quickly when it comes to resources and energy. Energy is going to be at a premium moving forward, especially with the Trump administration trying to move away from renewable energy and trying to use our natural resources like oil. So yeah, I just would and it just so happens that the Marine general who was in moving around in Africa, he was saying that Burkina Faso. No, he was saying that Traore was doing some things that are against the interests of the United States. So you wonder if a lot of this military action has implications when it comes to the power struggle when it comes in between the United States and BRICS. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Anytime the United States is making foreign inroads militarily, it's definitely about resources. They've been, ever since OPEC tried to pull the move to make oil more expensive. They've been trying to find other resources to where that they OPEC can't affect them. But they've been trying to do that since Mossadegh was the Shah of Iran. Was elected in Iran. So yeah, I mean it's always going to be a resource play with the United States government, with France and Britain as well. That's factual.
Guys,
Hey, how
let
you
me
guys doing?
let me read this super chat. The Jughead, thank you for the 50 pounds. Nigeria could have been our black Singapore times 10, a country that all black people could have been proud of. Instead, Nigeria is a huge plantation owned by Shell and BP, and that fool Tinubu is a dumb plantation overseer working for Shell and BP. Let me pass the mic to Ola. Go ahead, Ola.
Thanks, Diners. I think I should start by saying that I'm not American, so feel free to kick me out of your space if that's required.
That's your what?
I'm not American. I'm not American.
You know what? This is a space for everybody.
Okay. So I joined because of the conversation around.
I'm Nigerian too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought you were Sierra
I'm Black American, Sierra Leone. I'm Nigerian.
Oh, okay, sweet. That's nice.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ola.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say first, with regards to what's going on in Burkina Faso. I think a lot of times we listen to stuff on social media, but don't speak to people on the ground a lot. And I don't know if anyone on this space speaking around, talking about Burkina Faso, has spoken to anyone who is from Burkina Faso, living in Burkina Faso. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because there was a conference held, I think, about 2 weeks ago, and it was basically about security around West Africa. Even those people who attended from Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, they couldn't speak on camera. They couldn't even enter into those rooms on camera because by nature of what they are going through in their country, they are not even allowed to dissent or speak out about what's going on in their countries. The reality on ground in Burkina Faso, places like Mali at the moment, let me speak about Burkina Faso first. In Burkina Faso, what has happened is, so the military took over the country, which is what they did. Then they kicked out the French, which I have a lot of issues with the French anyway, but they kicked out the French. And after kicking out the French and, all the other forces in their country, they went to Russia. By going to Russia, they are paying the Wagner Group quite a lot of money to protect Burkina Faso, which is not the problem if the Wagner Group was actually protecting Burkina Faso. But with the money they are paying the Wagner Group.
Well, they're no longer the Wagner Group. They got renamed and rebranded.
Yeah, but that's what they are. Like they have a new name. I agree with you, but I just call them the Wagner Group. But by the money, with the amount of money they are paying them, they don't even get as much troops on ground as what they had before they kicked out the French, the US troops that were there, other troops that were there before they kicked out all of those people. They have at the moment now lost almost half of their country to rebels because they are unable to protect their citizens. But we don't hear these narratives. What we hear is the propaganda that comes out of Burkina Faso. But if you speak to the actual people in Burkina Faso, they are not even able to speak out against what is happening in their country. But that aside now, let me just speak about Benin a little bit. With regards to the coup that happened in Benin, I think it was right for Tinubu to go, for the ECOWAS to go in there. And I do
Hold on 1 second. So
Yeah.
St. James is from Burkina Faso. He just tapped in.
Okay.
After you finish Afro Power Man Sec, I'm gonna let St. James respond to Ola. But go ahead.
Oh,
Ola.
okay. Yeah, sure. So with regards to what happened in Benin, so I'm Nigerian. The northern part of Nigeria has been facing issues around security for a while, with the headsmen coming in, the issues of land resources. There's been a combination of multiple things going on. But with what happened in Niger, I thought at that time that we should have done something, but well, the government didn't, or they couldn't, whatever the case was. I thought they should have done something because by that coup, it had worse implications for the security of the country. At the moment, with what happened in Libya to Gaddafi, you have arms, literally, people walk with arms through Libya, through Mali, all the way into Nigeria. So with Benin and Lagos, the western Nigeria, is basically in some cases like 45 minutes drive across. So they had no choice. There is no choice. And I don't believe this is a Macron thing, although I do understand that Tinubu has a very weird, it's not weird actually. He has a thing with France because he goes there, he has houses there, he stays there. Is it any more strange than presidents who go more to places like Turkey or the US or whatever? The only difference is that maybe perhaps France has overplayed their hand on the African continent and everyone looks at them with suspicion, which fair enough.
Tinubu has a house in France, the UK. I don't want to say here in New York.
Yeah, but I think he's more comfortable in France because he goes to France. Before he even became president, he goes to France a lot. He spends a lot of time in France. So I think he's someone who is probably, people have houses in different places, but they might be comfortable in one place over another. Hey, I'm not knocking about. Like, that's just what I think. I think he's more comfortable there because he goes there a lot. So perhaps maybe that's why people think he's more aligned with France. I don't know. But I think that with what happened in Benin, you had the president asking for help. I think they had no choice but to help. It would be silly of Nigeria to sit down again and then allow a new frontier of war, in quote, to happen on their southern part, which is the commercial part of the country. Like, it doesn't make any kind of sense to do that. That's just my point. Like, I know people in Benin, there are Yoruba people in Benin. I'm Yoruba. I support them as much as anyone else would. But it will be silly to basically sit down. We're still fighting what's going on in the north, which a large part of it is because arms are flowing into the country. And then we now wait again for another front to open in Benin. I don't get that. So that's just it. Like, I'm not even here to defend Tinubu. I didn't vote for the man, but I just think that a lot of the criticisms are quite harsh and in some cases maybe not as informed. So that's just what I wanted to say.
No problem. Say James. Go ahead, say James. And after that, I pass the Afro Power. Go ahead, say James.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me. I was just listening to the show, and I was enjoying everything that the panel have to say about the situation in Benin right now. But as I'm listening, I'm hearing some stuff, man. I don't know where the lady is getting her information from. Actually, my name is St. James. I'm Burkina born and raised. I live in the U.S. I know I might not fill the description that you said, but I would love to know where yourself is getting your information, just if I may ask.
Which information? Is it regarding Burkina Faso?
Yeah, that the people of the Burkina official can't speak. They went to you refer to a meeting they went to and they couldn't take questions. They couldn't respond to questions.
It wasn't that they couldn't take questions. They asked the journalists in the room to leave before they could speak. If it was like, I appreciate you're from Burkina Faso, but you're not. Yeah, but if it was such a free space where they are free to speak their mind, you wouldn't ask the journalists or all cameras to be turned off before you could speak. That's just what I'm saying.
I can't speak to that particular situation that you're referring to, but if you want, we can discuss and I can show you links where the government officials, especially the military, where they take questions and answer the questions, all kind of questions and prepared questions. You may ask them and they will answer them.
No, I'm not speaking about
where I'm from. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't have a source in Burkina Faso and you are also referring to certain people, I'm just letting you know, you got to be careful about those sources as well. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just call on the channel and tell the people of that country are afraid to talk about the country. You understand? This is not right. I can't speak like that for your own country. If I have to say something like that, that's very dangerous. I have to have my source has to be accurate. And I have to have the what do you call it? I have to have evidence to back that up. So what you say is not fair. The guy is over there doing his work, and you are already labeling him as a dictator. The people can't speak. Come on, lady, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, I apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to. Listen. We are going through a trying time. I don't want to say anything about your country right now because that's not that. I don't want to do that. But by listening to you, you're trying to label a country and label a people, with something that I don't appreciate.
That wasn't my intent.
No, I get your point, but please do get your sources correct.
I think
before. If these people are serving the president, can you imagine if you are serving the president and you are sitting here telling me the same people that are serving the president can speak? It is very dangerous.
That's not what I was saying. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. That if you felt offended by what I said, I apologize. But that wasn't what I was trying to say. What I'm saying is that in a lot of these conversations, we hear from people. But I hardly see conversations where we hear from people who are from Burkina Faso.
Do you speak French? Do you speak French? Do you speak French?
I don't speak French. I don't speak
Okay,
French.
so it's going to be hard for you to come across those conversations because you are not a French-speaking person. And if you do go on YouTube and you know people that speak French, you will see Burkina express their feelings about the country on YouTube. They speak French, they speak other language. For English, I cannot vouch for it because I don't know that many, but you will see Burkina speaking French about their own country, and they are a big critic. They are a big critic of their president, and they love him. They can criticize anything. We are not under a dictatorship in Burkina Faso.
Okay, if you say so.
Thank you. Yeah, I can guarantee that.
Okay.
All right, let me pass the mic to Afro Power. Go ahead, Afro Power.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
All right, thank you. I just want to know what exactly is going on in Africa. I mean, you have coup after coup, war after war in Sudan. You have the guys that they're so hungry for war that they've destroyed the National Museum with the Nubian artifacts. What's next? They're going to knock down the pyramids, and they're committing well, I guess you want to call it genocide. Darfur. I don't know what it is that they have with the people of Darfur, but they seem to keep picking on them until I guess they disappear. This is insane. I don't know when it'll ever end. Maybe they need to redraw the borders or something, but it's just ridiculous. And you have these coups, it's coup after coup after coup. It doesn't matter who starts the coup, if it's an outside force or not. These people, it's, I just watched the video today on YouTube. They said Richard Nixon said that Africans can't govern themselves. Apparently, that must be the case because, I mean, what are these people going to get it together? Anybody got an answer for that?
Let me pass it to Mansek. Go ahead, Mansek. Or go ahead, Mansek. Unmute yourself, Mansek. Mansek.
Yeah, give me 1 second. In fact, can you go to the next person? I just need like a few minutes.
I'd like to respond to what dude just said.
Okay. Go ahead.
If I may.
Yeah, I did not pass it to Juck yet. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I mean, bro, look, like you're talking about the most resource rich place on the planet, brother. Like it's not. You have countries that are actively trying to destabilize these nations. You have a myriad of foreign powers that are all trying to fight to gain foothold with the resources. It's not as simple as quote unquote they can't govern themselves. It's not an objective playing field. First of all, there's a huge technology gap with the people that are trying to come in and get the resources. Then you got people on the ground that can easily be swayed because of the economic the economic occurrences that are happening right now on the continent. So it's not as simple as they just can't govern themselves. We are like, this is all common sense. Like,
but that's what it sounds like to me. That's what you just said. They can't govern themselves, so others have to come in and do it for them.
No, it's not about them not being able to govern themselves. You have people that are trying to come and capitalize off their resources that have greater military technology and greater military organization. That's simply what it comes down to. The only reason that they're not occupying the continent or stop doing direct colonialism is because you have people that you have sellers that are willing to do the bidding of the other countries. It's not about they can't govern themselves, bro. Nobody wants to be under the yoke of these people. Nobody wants to be disorganized. There's exterior forces that have greater power, bro, right now, and it's up to us to organize to alleviate it. Us sitting over here making these statements like that, bro, that's defeatist mentality stuff, and it's just not accurate. But I'll yield the mic.
I can only go by what I'm witnessing all my entire life. You know, in Sudan, it's outright Islam isn't helping them, Arabism isn't helping them, but yet they're still going to war. Ma is not there for them, and that's in the land of Ma. But I mean, what is this? And nobody's getting in the way of really stopping it. Apparently, they want to keep it going, and they want to commit a genocide or ethnocide while they're at it. So
now people are trying to stop it, brother. But again, they're going against greater military forces, man. Like a lot of us over here in America speak this talk, bro. But if you've never been in that situation to where you got people that are coming in and trying to exploit your nation that have greater military strength than you, bro, you're really helpless as a civilian. So the people that wanna go against the forces, bro. I mean, they're not at no advantage. They're at a huge disadvantage. They're getting attacked on multiple fronts. And then that's compounded by having leaders that are willing to capitulate to the powers that be. Like we gotta
how are coups and civil wars? How's that being attacked?
Brother, coups. If you know anything about geopolitics, coups are the main instance of destabilizing a nation. You have to study each individual coup to research whether it was implemented organically or from a foreign instance. Like this is common knowledge. Like, do you know anything about what happened in colonialism?
Of
Like
course.
it's not just no isolated instance. This stuff is the history is from then until now. This stuff is still occurring.
But you know, when you say what you say, what you're saying is that these Africans must not be smart enough to know what happened during colonial times because they keep repeating the same process.
Brother, we doing it in America right now. That's our problem. It's not just the quote unquote Africans. It's all of us. All of us aren't learning from history.
Sir, we in America don't have our own country and our own land.
Brother, so what is it? So we know that Europeans have actively tried to destabilize our communities, but we still do the same tactics in America over here, man. Stop, bro. All of us around the world have the same problems. We're not analyzing history, and we're not making the proper steps to avoid repeating it.
You're right about that because we keep repeating the same thing. All of us are in the same boat, which we're not. When you have your own land, you have quite a few people in each country. How come people can't develop technology or even go learn the technology that's out there that you learn? Other countries do it, but African countries seem, I don't want to call them idiots, but they just can't seem to get it together.
You clearly are not listening to nothing that I said. It's an exercise of futility.
I am, but I'm disagreeing with you. That's what I'm.
Nah, but if you know the historical and contemporary record, there's no possible way you could disagree. If you know that the pressure that they're under, you wouldn't be making these type of statements. That's what it's easy for us to make these type of statements with air conditioning, AC, and flat screen TVs over in America, brother. But if you haven't been boots on the ground and see what they actually subject to, you have no room to talk about nothing. So I'm not even gonna go back and forth. You're entitled to your opinion, brother.
Okay, good. I shouldn't have to hear from you again. So I guess what you're basically saying is that the Africans, they're too dumb to recognize the history of what has taken place, so they can't change it or prevent it, or it doesn't matter about a military power. As long as you have something to work with, that's unity, you can oppose any military on the planet because you have the numbers. But see, they repeat the process. Islam doesn't work. The Arab League doesn't work. But yet the same things continue to happen over and over and over again. There are Asian countries like Vietnam that have been attacked nonstop for hundreds of years by different people. But yet they're more technologically advanced probably than all of Africa put together. And that's sad when you think about it. So when you talk about struggles, Vietnam is going through struggles, and yet they have persevered and they've come out on top, and they can even construct their own buildings of a modern type. But Africa, they can't even build a level street road yet. This is insane. When are these people going to get it together? Answer that.
Look, we a part of making that solution, brother.
Let me pass it to Jughead. Go ahead, Jughead. Jughead, you got to mute yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's a great evening to the panel from the UK. Greatness to all of you. I can't say I'm at work at the moment, but I'll keep it short and brief. Last of callers make good points about Africa's, not being able to get together. This true, but also about the Vietnam. It's just a good point. Korea also, some against powerful people fought back. But unfortunately, the problem in Africa is misleadership. Counting is misleadership. Not the people on the ground are good-hearted, but it's people at the top that sell us out. Like, if I question for Ola, if you might answer this question, please. Tinubu bombed Benin. Okay. Sister Ola, ask me a question, please. Right now, as we speak, in Libya, Arab scum sell black people slaves. Well, Tinubu, when is he going to bomb them, Ola? In Mauritania, in Northern Sudan, Arab scum sell black people slaves at 2025. When's he going to bomb them? When's he going to smoke for black people? Ola, ask me that, please, Ola.
Yeah, sure. So with regards to what happened in Benin, it wasn't Nigeria versus Benin, it was ECOWAS versus Benin. There is that part. In terms of what happened in Libya is not Africa. I don't even think they even consider themselves as African, to be honest. But Do I think Nigeria should leave the problems they are facing at the moment to go face Libya? Certainly
That's
not.
weakness right there, giving up
Because,
part of your land.
I'm sorry? I didn't get that.
I said that's weakness right there when you want to give up, surrender part of your land that was taken. Like
We're not
Libya.
surrendering any land. There are countries between Nigeria and Libya, like there are about.
No, but would you say Libya is not even
between us.
Africa?
You're
You're saying
They say,
Africa.
I'm
You can
not
take it.
saying it. The
That's what
people
you
of
just said.
North Africa, they say they are not Africans.
Who
I'm
cares
not the
what
one
they
saying
say?
that. That's what they say.
If it is Africa, you should take it. That's what you should do.
Brother, let me do it. Sister, this is my point. It's this. Forget the money point. The point I make is this. Say they bomb a black nation, okay? Arab scum on our land. They're squatters on our land. They shouldn't be there. Invaders. Why does he drive them out? Why has he got some people?
Are you speaking about like sorry, I'm trying to understand your point. That's why I'm asking you a question.
What then? You understand it? You understand if you're talking. What is this? Tinubu is a black coward. Typical African coward, okay? He got stuck for black people, but that's not for Arab, that's not for them. That's my point.
If Tinubu goes to bomb Libya, what do you think is going to happen with that?
Who cares?
Well, we should care. We live in the country.
That's right. There's only 5 million people in Libya. You should be able to take that with ease.
Yeah, but why would he want to? That's my point.
See, that's the problem with Africa. It's right there, right there.
Self-respect. The self-respect is black now.
Self-respect.
Land in 2025. Do you understand that? By self-respect, backed by manhood, self-respect. Do you understand that? That's my point.
Okay. Can I ask you a question though? Okay, so let's assume now, at the moment, the US went into Libya, blew them the fuck up, and now the rest of us are paying the price for what the US has done in Libya. So while we are trying to clean up that problem, we should also go now to bomb Libya so that can lead to
This is
more
what we call
wars.
coward's mindset right here.
No, I think the point here, and I think it was Tengabisi, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right, who said something earlier, and I 100% agree with him. What we are seeing play out in Africa at the moment, and the reason why it's not playing out a lot in North Africa, is the fight against resources and the geopolitical fights. At the moment, I think it was right to get involved, for ECOWAS to get involved with Benin. I worry that what is going on at the narratives that are being spun is to try and create some sort of proxy war between France and Russia to be fought in Nigeria. And definitely we must resist that. I do agree that we must remain unaligned as we have always been, which is why I think we definitely shouldn't join BRICS. We should remain unaligned. We should be for ourselves and for no one else, like just remain unaligned. However, I don't necessarily agree that us going right now at this moment to go and bomb Libya and kill people there would be to what benefit. We have no interest in taking their country. What benefit will it do to us to take a country that is far away from us? And what about the people we go kill there? Where are they supposed to go when we kill them or destabilize their country even further?
These are the kind of questions you ask that you shouldn't be concerned about. You should understand Libya is an easy take. Mauritania is an easy country to take.
Libya is not an easy take. They are fighting within themselves, even in that country. You know, there's no single
they have low population and Mauritania has practically no infrastructure at all.
That's my comment. That's my
Man,
comment.
this is crazy, bro.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Jughead. Go ahead,
And these
Jughead.
countries are also aligned with other countries. You know
That's
that,
scared.
right?
That's the scared
Let
talk.
me go ahead.
it's just
Hold on,
reality.
let go ahead, Jughead. Go ahead, Jughead.
Afro power, my brother. I'll agree with 100%. This is my point. Point is this: as a black man living in the UK, as African descent, I'm ashamed that Africans in 2025 are still allowed to sell the state on their own land. That's a disgrace. It's correct. Teeny Vietnam took on Japan, France, and America back to back. Teeny Vietnam.
Vietnam is 2,000 years old. You do know that.
Right, but you don't listen. Pay attention. That's why you don't understand. You don't listen. Pay attention. Teeny Vietnam took on Japan, France, and America back to back. Teeny Vietnam. Teeny Korea with America. Teeny Korea. Teeny Cuba feeds people with no resource. Teeny Cuba Island with no resource feeds its people. African country people starving. A country full of resources. That's a disgrace. African power is correct.
Okay, the point is self-respect. You say, what can people war Libya? Stop black slavery. That's why. Have you got no self-respect? Have you got no shame?
So, so I understand you. You want Nigeria or an African country, for example, to go fight
Or
Libya because
maybe
they are selling black people, which is wrong. So
Yes.
when they fight
she's trying to
them,
talk about how not to do it.
I'm just
See, this is
saying,
why Africa.
when
This is
they
why Africa
fight
stays
them,
weak.
you do that. Sorry, I just want to say one thing. First of all, like I said earlier, there is geopolitical war being fought at the moment. A lot of it is still silent, but that is what is happening. A scramble for resources. A lot of these countries are aligned, which means that when, for example, in this hypothetical world, Nigeria decides to go fight Libya, that is aligned with another country, what exactly is going to happen when that country comes to the defense of Libya? It's not that simple. I think definitely there are things they can do in terms of sanctioning Libya, sure. Which I think
Did any
been
countries come to the
happening
defense of
already.
Libya when they took down Gaddafi?
Well done.
Because they dealing with
It was the
a
US who
greater
took
power.
down
It's the
Gaddafi.
U.S.
The African countries didn't even agree with them taking down Gaddafi in the first place. I don't know if you know
That's
that.
not
No,
true.
that's not
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
The President Macky Sall supported it.
Yeah,
And Jacob
some
Zuma let them
people
get into the
might have
airspace.
yes, but
That's not true.
initially the idea was for them to try to save his life. People, that was the initial idea. They didn't think they were going to kill him, not at the end of it. I think Gaddafi was an asshole, personally. I don't support him in any way, shape, or form. He was a terrible person. He allowed lots of his people to die. A lot of black people died under his reign. But he was
Actually,
good to
black
some of his
people rose
citizens
in
as well.
high in government under Gaddafi, to be honest with you.
What I'm saying is that Gaddafi was taking black people from countries like Italy and sending them into the desert to die. There were some black
He was
people that he
also
was
sending
aligned with.
indigenous Libyans and putting them in government while other North African countries suppressed them.
What I'm saying
Oh,
is that it
Dennis,
is
I'm
not
ready
as
whenever she's
simple
finished.
as what you're saying.
guys.
But
Let me.
I can stop talking now, actually. I just
Okay.
wanted to respond to Jughead, and that was what I did. But that's just my opinion on Jughead. I don't think it will make to have any positive impact, to be honest, for Nigeria to decide to go to war with Libya, that is countries away, when we are not yet done cleaning up the issues that have come up based on, the
I guarantee you, nobody would get involved if he decided to take
Let her
Mauritania.
finish speaking. Why you steady interrupting her?
You just interrupted me, you faggot.
See, bro, you act like a child, man. Like I'm not. That's crazy.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. After that, I pass it to Afrodamus.
Okay, so I wanted to answer the question, the brother's question. I didn't get his name, but he said that he didn't understand why Burkina Faso was teaming with the Russians and stuff. You have to understand, right? After the coup, and when they took power, Ibrahim Traore took power. One of the things that he did was he wanted to require weapons, right? He went to the West. He said, "Hey, can I get some weapons?" They said no. He said, "All right, cool, no problem." The second thing he did, he went to South America, purchased some weapons. It was on their way coming to Burkina Faso, and guess what? It got blocked. So if you're preventing me defending myself, who do you think I'm going to go to? That's why he went to the Russians, and that's why he went to China. And if you want to know what they're doing, right, I recommend this channel called Andre TV. He has sources in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And it's not just talk. He has images, he has videos of them defeating the jihadists over there. He actually has it's pretty gory, but you can check his channel, Andre TV, ANDRADE TV. So you exactly see what they're covering. Because before that, if I'm not mistaken, I think the terrorists took about 40% of the ground in Burkina Faso. Now they got about 70, 73%. So that's the answer your question about Burkina Faso, what's going on, right? And to the lady from Nigeria, she was talking about dictatorship. Dinus, is there anything of free speech in West Africa that you know of? Dinus.
I know. I'm here.
Yeah. I was saying that. Have you ever heard of any free speech in West Africa?
In what context?
No, I'm saying that if, for example, if someone in Nigeria gets up and speaks against the government, what's going to happen to that person? You're going to get arrested, right?
They can speak against the government. I think the open protest might be a problem.
Okay. So I'm just saying that for her to sit there and say that they can't speak. They can speak, but the thing is that I understand it's like national security because you're dealing with like a lot of stuff. You got people putting out false stuff because IB, he's Daula, and I'm Mandinka, which is pretty much the same tribe but different dialect and stuff. They fighters, you know, they don't tolerate shit. But just to answer your question, they can speak because there was this plenty of videos which he got interviewed by the press. He's answering questions that everyone was concerned, right? And then to the other brother that was talking about the infrastructure, right? I mean, what I don't understand is this, right? How can someone take over a country for some time, right? And take all the minerals and resources, and they live lavish in the West, and then sit there and say, "Oh, I don't understand why Africa can't help himself." But that's why Troy, not even Troy, Simi Gorta and Abdul Drami Tahani, they're trying to keep control of those resources so they can build themselves. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take time. China took about 40 years. Korea, it took about 40 years to build. But the thing is that they're doing stuff at a fast pace. It's going to take time. Like the lithium that we have on our phones right now, the minerals is from Congo. The diamonds they get it from Botswana. So these companies came in, they privatized a lot of stuff, and the people in those countries, they live poor. That's why you see like the high poverty rates. Most of these presidents, they're puppets. I mean, you see what happened in Benin, right? When IB came out, he said that they had terrorists in Ivory Coast and Benin. Everyone thought that he was lying, and look what happened. The coup happened. Guess what? French troops came, and they bought their helicopters and everything in Benin. Because they knew. And that President Talon, he tried to invite Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Gorda, and Tiani over there for a ceremony. They said no, because they knew what was going on. Because if they went to that country, they would have got assassinated or something would have happened. And the reason why you don't hear a lot of stuff, because a lot of stuff is in French. It's there, it's on YouTube, but you got to get it translated. It's there. You got to do the research. And then answer the question about Benin. Someone said, what was the question about with Benin? They said why the coup happened, right? If I'm not mistaken, did someone answer that question or no?
Go ahead and answer. Yeah, go ahead. And then
Okay.
I'm passing that.
So like I said, so the reason why, I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's a real coup or not, but a lot of these coups happen in West Africa because again, the poverty rate is high, military officers is dying, and they're getting taken advantage of. But the thing is that some of these coups are real, some of them are fake. Gabon was fake. In fact, there's a video of that president talking to the son of the ex-president, saying how this is what they had to do to maintain power. It's in French. It's on YouTube. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau. The other person who was going against that other guy, I don't know what his name is, he actually won, but he prevented him from taking the office. So instead, he made a fake coup. I mean, what do you do if you're in a situation, if you're living through poverty, you have no source of income, you can't feed your family? I mean, the next thing is either fight or die. And that's why like this form of democracy is just not working. Because I asked the panel this: were we fine prior to democracy, or are we better now?
We had better systems we created ourselves.
Yeah,
Can I ask
thank
you a question,
Hold on.
Have you lived through a military dictatorship?
Yes, I'm from Guinea. Sekou Touré.
Oh, can I come in?
Yeah, go ahead, Afrodamus.
All right, thank you for having me. Hello to the panel. Hello, Ola. So here's what's happening. You know what we are seeing. Like Nigeria went into Benin and bombed the place. I heard people saying that's ECOWAS. That's not ECOWAS. Tinubu is not the chairman of ECOWAS.
Actually the chairman is my president.
Mother Bill.
Yeah.
So you can literally go on Twitter and see Macron, the president of France. He wrote it. He said he called Tinubu, and he was saying, to go and bomb the place, and Tinubu went. So here's what people don't understand. People are talking all this one Africa thing. This is eroding. Nigeria, slowly people want other African nations now know where Nigeria stands. You know, Nigeria, they're gonna see Nigeria as the real enemy because Nigeria have aligned with France. I heard the sister saying Nigeria did not take a stance. No, the next big war that is coming, Nigeria have already taken a position. France lost those 3 territories plus more, but they gained Nigeria. You know, Nigeria is the enforcing arm, military arm of France in West Africa as we speak. This is what people don't understand. France just get, they claim that Nigeria bought the weapons, but they are giving them tons of weapons. I mean, ask yourself, how is Nigeria getting all these weapons? They can't, their Minister of Defense, they are on TV, making all sort of excuses why they can get rid of Boko Haram. They said, bombing them is too deep, blah, blah, blah. And when Trump tried to go in, they started crying about sovereignty. But they violated the, sovereignty of Benin. That big flight you saw that they downed in Bobo Dioulasso, it's a test run because another of their flight, they said crashed in Niger. So Nigeria is slowly attacking other countries because that plane, carries, anything you need for war. The area, they could drop weapons, food, whatsoever. So imagine they saying that they were going to Portugal. If they know that that's the route to take to go to Portugal, why didn't they inform this country? Why didn't they let Burkina Faso know that they are coming?
Right. So Afrodami, so I played a news clip earlier, and the guy was on there saying that when you fly in another country or international airspace, you don't have to inform that country. I think that's not true.
No, because AES, if you look at it, they've said, because that's Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they've issued statements way back to say any flight from ECOWAS, you cannot violate their airspace. So they've said 2 things. If you look at how close Benin is literally stone throw away from Nigeria, and the area where all the commotion is taking place, their commercial city, Cotonou, that's closer to Lagos. First, they said it was about, they're taking stuff to Benin, but then now they said they were going to Portugal. But what I'm seeing is, from what I've seen from, Macron, this is a test run. Nigeria is the invading force for France on the ground in West Africa. Like last year, I said it on my show that the big war is coming, and Nigeria is the arm of France. They are the military arm. Nigeria will be attacking other West African nations that are against France. So Nigeria is truly the enemy amongst, in West Africa. I'm not saying the Nigerian citizens, but Nigeria's government, the head, Tinubu, they have made a stance, and pretty soon other Africans would align together to go against Nigeria because Nigeria have shown their hand. They will attack any country that Tinubu call for them to go to. They did it to Benin. I get it, it's a coup, but Nigeria have no right to violate, to interfere in those people's internal affair, because they cried that Trump couldn't do that. Oh, we are a sovereign nation. And now they're saying this is an accident. Finding themselves in Burkina Faso is no accident. It's a test run. The forces, they are ready to attack these countries. AES, they know this. They are well aware. They got information. They know what is going on. So people talking all this black stuff, no. Nigeria is not doing the black stuff. Nigeria is ready to fight for France. That's what is happening.
And Dinas, I wanted to add one more thing too.
Go
Do
ahead.
you remember when you went to Africa, you interviewed Kima Siba?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why you see what's going on in Mali and in Burkina Faso is because he has a non-profit organization, which is a Pan-African organization, and he's going around teaching the history of self-governance, uh, protect yourself, and do things for yourself. So he's one of the key figures that went and motivated Ibrahim Traore and Assimi Gorda. In fact, Assimi Gorda is the mentor of IB. And when that coup happened, Kima Sibo was actually invited to all three of the all heads of those three countries. He went to Burkina Faso where he met IB. He went to Mali where he met Assimi Gorda, and he also went to Niger. And then when he went, had the incident which he, I guess, got his citizen banned or removed from France, he got a diplomatic passport from Niger.
Right.
But I also wanted to add too is like a lot of people don't even know that Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, they're in the process of having their own vehicles, their own weapons, their own drone capabilities and stuff. Like I said, if you see these pictures and images that I've seen from Andre TV, you'd be like, damn. But I mean, like I said, I don't want to go into detail because it's YouTube and stuff too. But they're destroying those terrorists. I'm talking about like they'll go, like recently, I think this happened 2 days ago, Mali just neutralized 37 with the weapon capabilities. But
Did
again,
you
huh?
Did you guys remember not that long ago, just a couple months ago, when they shut down the traffic on Mali? The jihadis, they were getting the upper hand.
No, they didn't get the.
No, they did for a second, for a moment. Nigeria's name came up in that again. People are just in denial about what the Nigerian government is doing. Nigeria went from the big brother to the bad brother. Like they are literally, they've become the enemy within. That's what, because they've formed alliance. Now they have alliance with France. That's what is happening.
Can I ask you a question?
And then on top of that, like another thing I wanted to
I'm
add
very
too. Hold on. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say one more thing. And then a lot of
Yeah,
people
sure.
don't know, for example, the jihadists what Assimi Gorda's army is fighting, the JNIM. Assimi Gorda got a call. He didn't say who. Someone from, I guess, particularly France, called him allegedly and said, "Hey, you can go after all these other terrorist groups. Just don't touch JNIM." Now you got to ask yourself why. Why did someone go and call him to tell him not to touch these certain particular terrorists? It's because they funded them. Even the weapons that they have. I forgot the guy's name, but one of the dudes that did an interview with, I think France 24. I don't know. They did a documentary or something. One of the weapons they had was from France. You know, a lot of these sponsors, they sponsor these terrorists. And then on top of that, recently Burkina Faso had an operation which they deleted, I think, like 20 or 30 terrorists. And guess what? They were found with solar panels, with what's that thing with with was it Starlink or something like that? Yeah, they was found with Starlink. You gotta ask yourself,
These people they're fighting with drones now. That's what we are having in the Sahel, and we are asking the question: who is providing them those equipment? So we are very suspicious about the coastal countries. That's why that situation in Benin has to make sense for every one of us, because we are a landlocked country and we don't trust some of the countries that surround the three countries. So if we can't work together, then there won't be no trust. So the idea, yesterday I was here on your panel, Donis, I said a lot of people don't understand the complexity of our Francophone Africans. We have a problem with France, and any country that lend hand with France, and we're gonna see it as an enemy. That's the feeling of the people in the Sahel.
No,
Whether
but
you're doing a good,
Can I say something, please?
St. James, look at it
Yeah.
this way, right? Guys, ask yourself a question. Nigeria is an Anglophone country.
Yeah,
No,
African
hold on. Let me finish. So you are seeing the French, the people that they are oppressing. You're talking this one, Africa. Those people carve themselves away from France. Nigeria formed alliance with France now, an Anglophone country, now forming alliance with France, in the midst of war. So while somebody that was talking about Libya,
Libya is a better friend of AES than Nigeria is. Libya is aligned with AES to fight France. You know, last year I said it. I said the war is coming, and when I described it, people are like, "Man, you're just talking." You know, but it's coming out. Go on, go look at what the French president is saying. This is not ECOWAS. This is Nigeria taking this on their own because they have alliance with France. They are the military arm now, to attack other African nations. I'm telling you.
And then what's so funny on top of that? Like, if I'm not mistaken, too, Nigeria also got weapons from the U.S.
Say?
Hold on. They got weapons from the U.S., right? And they don't understand that when you purchase those weapons, right, they have software that gets to get updated. So it's not like you could purchase the weapons and that's it, you're good and dandy. No. If they get updates, the weapon that you have is not going to work. So they got to pay extra money to get that update because they feel like, oh no, I got one of these weapons, whatever. This is from the West. This is going to do some damage, but they don't understand the ramifications. And then on top of that, the weapons. Wait, hold on. And the weapons that they have, they're being told they can't use it for particular things because it's very lethal.
And I want people to understand this is not against the people of Nigeria. The government, I'm telling you what your government is doing.
I just say, because I listened to you, I just wanted to say something. I don't see this partnership that you think Nigeria has with France. I frankly think it's non-existent, to be honest.
No, but
the
evidence is in front of us. What the hell are you talking about?
Let me just say something first, because I just want to say something. First, I think there are some things that have been said during the course of this call that is even in conflict with what you're saying. The first thing was around France and they are arming the Janawatu Islam group, the JNI.
Yeah.
The JNI is responsible for deaths of Nigerians. Why would we now decide? No, wait, let me finish first.
Okay, go ahead.
Why would we now decide now that we have decided to align ourselves with France?
Because you are.
Let me finish. I'm not asking a question. I just want to make a statement and I'll keep quiet and listen to you guys again. I think that would be really good. So, I don't see this partnership that you're saying, and I don't even see Nigerians, the citizen, staying quiet enough for the government to decide to align themselves with France. The position of Nigerians and the government is not in the position that they will do something that a lot of Nigerians are against. Nigerians are not quiet people. There's a reason why the story of Tinubu being a drug dealer is a thing that some people accept as fact, even though there's no proof.
Okay, so I ask you a question.
It's because Nigerians are not quiet. No, let me just finish.
Let me ask you a question. So when you see Tinubu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ask him to roll up his arms and take off his shirt off and let's see those tattoos that he got.
I don't give a shit what tattoos he has, if he even has at all.
Okay, but you do, but you do know that he got arrested in the U.S. back in the 90s for selling drugs. You know that, though, right?
That's what I'm saying to you. That some of these things have
There's proof for that. There's definitely
look. I'm not going to be here defending Tinubu. I'm not his spokesman. I don't really care that much. But the point I'm making is the point you just proved. Nigerians are not quiet people.
Lady, just because you're loud. Hold on, lady.
How am I loud? I listen to you more than
No, I'm not saying you are loud. You're saying Nigerians are loud, right? Did you? It sounds like. Hold on.
Nigerians and their government.
Yes, but I'm telling you, maybe you are misinformed. But go and look, even Tinubu, from when he won, the first place he visited was France. You guys have a strong alliance with France. You probably don't know what it holds. Ma'am. So is Macron and Tinubu himself, are they lying? Is the documents lying?
Even you lied on this.
Hold on, is the documents lying? Tinubu just said, Macron, it's on Twitter. He said he was the one. He called. Hold on.
This is something that is verifiable because Macron's statement, I read it, and that's why I wanted to clarify it if you would listen to me. Macron's tweet on Twitter, and everybody can check it out, it's not about Benin. He's saying that they spoke, and they spoke about fighting terrorism. which he's saying that France is interested, the fight against terrorism is fight for everyone. Do I think Nigeria should necessarily take France's help? No. Will Nigerians as a country agree to sway towards the side of France? I don't think so. And the major reason why I've said so is because of the JNI example. There are other examples. As much as the Americans can be blamed for the weapons that flew in through Libya, that flows through Libya, there's also the blame towards France for the weapons that they brought into Francophone West Africa that is also flowing into our territories. That's why I'm saying, the point I was trying to make is that even if Tinubu is so enraptured by Macron that he cannot see straight, let's assume he's so in love with this man, he has been convinced that he must align himself with France.
Ma'am, it's not about love, it's business. It's business.
And it's special interest too.
I'm saying that Nigerians would not look at the amount of talk over Benin. They would not sit around. People are not interested in war. It's not in our interest. And so people are not interested in it. I don't see the idea.
Okay, but you're saying, okay, I understand that you're saying that they're not, the people are not interested, but I understand that your government has special interest in special investment in certain things. But so I answer this one question, right?
Yeah.
ECOWAS is supposed to be an organization that's supposed to be a West African bloc. Why is it that when Guinea-Bissau had their coup, how come Nigeria didn't go to Guinea-Bissau or say anything about Guinea-Bissau? Why did hold on. When
the coup happened.
When Gabon had their coup, why Nigeria didn't say anything? But because it happened in Benin, because they had that port, they were obligated to do something because they don't want the AES to have that port. If they have that port, it's game over. That's France's last.
Exactly. You said it. You said it.
Hold on. So that's what Macron. Wait. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm not done yet. So hold on. So this
Hey, you got 30 seconds. I got to pass the mic to Jax. He's been waiting.
Okay. So I was saying that pretty much, if Macron went there and brought French forces over there with helicopters and jets, it would have been bad. But Macron went and told Tinubu, "Hey, won't you go down there and take care of that because you owe me a favor." And that's what he did. I'm just saying. And then on top of that, France was in Nigeria training your military. So you gotta ask yourself why. It's special interest, but that's it.
Why Nigeria is training whose military?
I said France is doing training exercises with the Nigerian government.
Oh, okay. So, look, to your question, I don't even think we were there because of AES. I think a lot of I don't even want to talk about their group anymore. I don't think we were there because of that. I think this is about Benin being strategically so close to Nigeria southern border. I think that's basically what it is.
Ma'am, you are misinformed. You don't know what is going on. You have no idea what is going on. You're in your feelings.
I'm trying to answer, and you keep interrupting me, and I don't know why you keep doing that.
Because you're making this about yourself. You don't understand what is going on. Even your own president said it. Look, your own president said it. You are coming here giving us your feelings. It's on the news. It's out there. Look.
And you're jumping in like a jumping happy.
No, because you're talking, you are in your feelings. Your own president, Tinubu, we've all heard him several times talking about. Do you know why? Hold on. Do you know why they have to? Hold on. Do you know why they have to bomb Benin? The man just told you. Because if the military, if the military, hold on, they don't want the military to take it because then the AES will have access to the port, which, this is a war going on. You don't understand what is going on.
I think
you don't get it.
Better than the rest of the world and better than the other people. You might.
Ma'am, at least I read. You don't read. You are in your feelings.
You might be right that I'm in my feelings and I don't understand anything, and you know everything that is to be known about West Africa. You might be right about that. But the point I'm making, and I've been saying, and I will keep saying, is that a lot of people in Benin a lot of West Africans, a lot of Nigerians don't agree with you. And it might make sense if you're saying that Nigerians are going the way of France to listen to us and try to convince us so that we can pressure our government not to do so. This thing that you say is happening, instead of trying to shout me down and saying that, oh, I am enraptured in emotions, which I don't understand
Ma'am,
why I should.
Tinubu don't care about what you have to say. You
Tinubu
can't even get him. You can't
cares
even
about
get
what
him to
the
fight the bandits. You
or he's
can't even
going
get
to
him
be
to fight the
removed.
Hey,
bandits.
I gotta pass the mic to Jax. He's been waiting. Go ahead,
Then
Jax.
you can go ahead to pass the mic. I'm
Go ahead, Jax.
Alright.
Thank you for
Thanks,
letting me come
thanks,
on your
thanks,
space. This was
thanks,
great. Thank
Dennis.
you.
I'm also Nigerian Yoruba, here in the States. I just wanted to offer some advice to Allah. You need to have more of an open mind because some of the things you said earlier were kind of like, it sounded emotion based, hence why the actual people in Burkina Faso, they do have a point. You do not speak French. Nigeria is not a French, colonized country. So it's literally impossible for you to be fully informed. And some of the takes that you took earlier was direct, like it sounded like directly from your emotions. Number two, none of us can say why Burkina Faso decided to go with Russia versus France. I mean, but we could all agree that they clearly sat down and took the great thought about this for um militarily France had loads of influence in those AES states for so long, and they've never experienced any great change. In fact, Burkina Faso and Niger are amongst the most impoverished countries in the world. Forget about Africa, in the whole world, so for us to question why they choose to go, with a different military support or things like that. What Mansik said is definitely correct. They were getting gate kept from even accessing typical modernized weapons, weaponry. That's completely unfair. Whereas a country where Russia, whether it's just business or not, contract or not, or whether they actually care about their sovereignty and freedom, things like that, they are getting that assistance that can actually project them going forward. And then another point was even their gold mines that the country itself, always using to export out of the country. And basically none of those resources are even being reaped by the country itself with with the same assistance that they've received from the new military contracts that they have and support that they have. These people are now in control of their own minds. The whole Burkina, you have to go get more informed. Burkina Faso now are, just like kind of similar what's going on in Nigeria with the Dangote oil refinery. They no longer have to export unrefined these things, how they usually typically lose money, basically putting the business in external countries' hands. Now, because of Dangote's refinery, they're able to do however many millions of gallons per day. Where the money can actually and resources can actually be homegrown and used. Hopefully used within the country. That same thing that's happening in Burkina Faso now with the gold refineries and Mali as well. Without this stuff that you was mentioning, oh, why do they that just goes to show you and answers that question. There's strides being done that's moving the country and the people forward. It's almost crazy to say that, oh, this is a dictatorship and they're being suppressed, and media is the number one threat and tool, that every country, is very sensitive. So even if they shut a few people up from talking, on a world media, who's to say they're not paid actors that's being sent from different, so they have to take these kind of things with high precaution, of course. So like I said earlier, it sounded a little too emotionally based and less actually informed based. So I just advise, like, try and have a more open mind set,
Yeah,
because
but
I feel
Jack, did you
like
hear
that's
me
a
when I
Nigerian
had
thing. A lot of
so
Nigerians have
yeah,
this
we
kind of
we are
thing
very,
where they're
very,
using
very strange, right? But did you hear me when I was speaking to, I think it was St. James, and I said that I really can't, like, I was only speaking from the perspective of I've not heard from anyone living in Burkina Faso,
All
but
right.
I am
But
not
that's a lot
speaking
of
for the
Nigeria. To
country.
me,
I
I
don't
think a
know.
lot of Nigerians have that kind of approach where
Mm,
they just speak into, and I'm Nigerian myself. I can
mm.
definitely attest to that. A lot of Nigerians have that kind of that mentality where it's less open-minded and what we think or what you think. It's not
Which
sometimes
is
it's not
fine.
about what you think, you know?
Quite fine.
And that's and as you
If the
can
people
see
of
how it
Burkina
rubbed a bunch of
Faso are
people the
happy
wrong way.
with what is going on in their country, it's not my place to say that, it is not the right thing. So I don't think that was my intent.
That's how it
But
came
if it
out
came across
originally.
that way, that wasn't my intent.
Exactly.
And yeah, that wasn't my intent actually.
Yeah,
But
so if
about the issue
Nigeria
of debt
and I
funds,
heard you about to say, oh,
mm,
have you ever been in military control?
I wasn't.
Yes,
Oh,
again,
okay.
that's Nigerian trauma. What we've been through, what Nigeria itself have been through with under
Mm,
military control, it doesn't
mm,
speak for the rest of Africa. It doesn't speak for the rest of people who are in military control. It doesn't mean that everyone has the same intentions as past Nigerian dictators
mm,
had. So you can't come with them, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of Nigerians have this kind of approach with most things, using your experience, your trauma,
mm,
and masking the rest of the, and this is why it turns into a opposite or a
mm,
negative narrative. It shouldn't be like that. That's because of you not using an open mind to think about things. Man Six said a whole lot of different things that, and St. James, like, these, like, these are actual facts. These are actual, even the drug thing, the drug dealer thing, or whatever the case may be. It's not my place to talk on that. But me being in the States, I've heard it on news anchors and stuff like that. What do you want to say about that? It's
So we
been on
hear it all
national
the time.
television.
I don't know if
I
it's
have
true or
something to
not,
say
though.
about that. I have something to
Yeah,
say
I don't
about
know if it's true or
the
not.
Hey,
drug issue. It's funny.
go
Just
ahead,
me
Ayo.
there.
Go ahead, Ayo.
Yeah, it's funny because people just run with that story, and no one really delves into it. So what
No, actually,
happened?
David did. David did actually.
Well, yeah, that Ayo finished.
Yeah. So what happened was he was forced to forfeit $400,000. So if you don't know what that is, do me a favor. Go to the bank tomorrow, take out $20,000, and try and drive it across state lines. When they pull you over, they will forfeit that money. It isn't a question of whether you illegally obtained it, or whether you want to use it to, or whether you legally obtained it. It's pretty much just what happens. If you have a large sum of money you can't account for, and they suspect you could potentially be funding nefarious activities with it, they will take that money from you. And it doesn't mean that you were found guilty. There is no trial. It's a forfeiture. And this is what everyone is jumping on and screaming that, oh, it's drug money and this and that. And if you actually look at the documents, it doesn't say anything about it being drug money. And that's just the fact. But just like everything else with Nigerians, they jump on a story, they run with it. Everyone takes it as gospel truth. No one does any research. And then it just becomes part of the legend. That's what it is. Case closed.
But that's not true because he was known in Chicago. He got arrested in Chicago.
Did you know him in Chicago?
He's
I don't know him, but
notorious in Chicago, brother.
We're going by.
Listen. I'll tell you what. I don't know him, but I know other people that knew him back in those days.
Oh, here we go.
No, bro, that's facts, bro. He's notorious in Chicago. He for I ain't gonna say for what, but yeah.
Why aren't there any court records though? Where are the court records?
Brother, come on. Let's be honest. Anybody that's forfeited $400,000 in the 80s, brother. Come on, brother.
Come on, what? Where is
we know what's going
Why
on.
wasn't he tried? Why wasn't he tried?
It's a forfeiture.
Because if you do know that they got government informants, and if you plead to a certain thing or you give certain information, they're gonna let you go off the books. It's a known fact.
So, but that's not what happened.
But
he didn't plead down. He didn't plead down to a lesser. I know what you're saying. He didn't strike a deal and plead down to a lesser charge.
No,
he
but
just
that's not
forfeited the money, and there is literally no court documents with him on it.
But the thing is that if you make a particular deal, that they say, hey, we got you on this. What can you do for us? He probably gave him a deal, and they said, "All right, we're not going to charge you. We're going to keep this,
Well,
but I
once
want you to
again,
do this
it's
down in the future."
speculation. You don't know that it was
But
drugs. You don't know
I'm
that
saying,
it was.
but what I'm
you-
saying is that in
right.
Chicago, he's known in Chicago
Yeah,
back in
well,
those days.
by whom though? You
What
knew
you mean by
Look,
who?
he is known
Hold
out
on,
here as a
It
connect.
don't even matter
He
to
was
me.
hold
known out
on,
here as a connect, brother.
hold
you
on,
know
hold on,
people. You know people who know him in Chicago in the 70s or something, or what
Yes, that's
exactly?
what I'm trying
Brother,
to
there's
tell
a
you. It
lot.
was a known fact.
hold on. Let me say
That's the
this.
thing,
Can
though.
I say this?
Where are the receipts?
And
Hold
these
on,
people,
You
they
sir.
are
keep on saying
fighting
it's a
for
known fact,
Hold
but
on,
you don't have
hold
any
on,
receipts. The
hold
only
on, sir.
Let
receipts.
me ask you a question. So let me
Yeah,
ask you a question. Everybody know Rick Ross sold drugs, right? Back in those days, right?
everyone knows what.
Right? Everyone know Nicky Barnes sold drugs, right?
I have no idea who that is, so no.
No, but when
Everyone
I'm
knows.
naming you is known drug dealers, because back in those days in the 80s, yo, when they
Yeah,
were
so
selling
it's become. So that's
huh?
urban. That's what's called urban legend. So
No,
the
it's
guy you
not
just.
urban legend because these are real people that got arrested. So what are you talking about? The people I
Okay.
just
So
named got
exactly.
arrested.
So if it's not urban legend, then they're court records. So exactly, you've just proven my point. The
No,
guy you
hold
No,
on,
I did
just.
hold
not
on.
prove my point because because you get caught with something, you can make a deal and they don't charge you. It's a known
Yeah.
fact.
Hey,
All
hold
right.
on. What this guy is saying, right? The guy that came here saying that there's no proof. I know somebody
There we
personally.
go.
This is first time.
That's not a
Hold on,
receipt. That's not a
but
receipt.
let me
I know
speak.
Santa Claus. I know Santa.
Hold on. Let me speak. This is not a Tinubu. I know somebody else who, was caught, crossing through Kansas with 60 grand, right?
Exactly. And they.
Hold on. He has to forfeit it. But this
Thank
guy
you.
is an actual drug dealer. He
Right.
was an actual drug dealer. So I'm just saying, like, because you're saying, where's the record? That guy, you're going to check, you're not going to see the record, but he was an actual drug dealer. That's
So
a
we should.
fact.
So we should trust your words for it. Okay, got
Well,
it.
no, my point is, people are, you are here trying to litigate something. You
No, I'm
yourself
just
said it.
saying. I'm not defending him one way or the other. I'm just saying
Yeah.
this urban legend has gotten too far, and I don't see any critical voices pushing back, and
Well,
it's
the
kind of
thing is,
silly. And
hold on.
we do this, and it's not even just Nigerians; it's just black people in general. We do this with
No,
every single little
but what
thing.
we're doing, but look at
We take
what you are doing.
we take urban legends and we blow
Hold
it
on.
up, and we don't
So let me
apply
ask you a
any
question.
critical thinking skills.
No, no,
Ayo,
no, no,
do
no,
you
no.
think the reason why
You
people
actually doing the
don't?
opposite of
Ayo,
what you're saying.
can I ask you a question, Ayo? Do you
Yeah.
think the reason why people no longer argue about this anymore is because they just feel like look, people are going to believe whatever they believe and they can say whatever they
Right,
want to
right,
say?
exactly. I mean,
I think that's just where it is
the
now.
thing is, it's almost like I don't know. It's this
Hold
generation,
on.
and I know how old everyone is. But people just don't
Ayo.
apply critical thinking skills
Hold on.
anymore.
You are not applying critical thinking skills. That
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
clearly have an
saying.
agenda. Anybody
Hold
in 1993 that forfeited
But Nonsense.
$460,000
Where are you?
and
Where's the receipts, bro? Where's your got it?
didn't recover it, because when you get that type of money forfeited, you can easily go to the police station and recover it
No, you
if you have.
cannot. No, you cannot. That's the whole
But you have
point.
to go through the process. You have to
No,
go
you
through the
cannot.
process of
Like I
proving
said,
you have to go through the
go
process
withdraw
of
20
proving where
grand
you got it
tomorrow.
from.
Go withdraw 20 grand tomorrow
My
and drive it to
thing is,
South Carolina or
let's
across the
assume
country. See what happens.
If the authorities confiscate the money, you have to go through a process to recover it. If you never recover the money, it's
You
nefarious
cannot
activity.
recover the money. It's gone.
Ayo,
There is no
No, it's
process to
not.
recover it.
Ayo, you're lying because guess what?
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube right now. What you say right now, when people get their money confiscated, they went to court and some of them got their money back. So what you're saying, you're lying.
Okay.
Can
Once
I ask
again,
a
no
question? Can I
receipts.
ask a question though?
Yeah.
Let's even assume this is true in the world that we are assuming. This guy has been in politics for so long. He has so many enemies. How come no one has been able to? And you say people, and someone said now that they know people who knew him as this drug dealer. So are you saying that they were not able to find anyone who was willing to come out to say, I know that Tinubu was dealing drugs
Thank
and
you.
this was what he was doing? Because the man has a lot of
Well, I
enemies.
mean, clearly,
Even if they
you're
came
one
on
of the
and even said
you're
those,
one of the very few Nigerians who actually asks probing questions. Everyone else just accepts urban legend and runs with it. So why hasn't there been anyone else come out publicly, either because they were around at the time, and maybe they weren't involved. And
so Ayo, why didn't he get the money back? Why didn't he get it back?
Listen,
He could have got it back.
I'm trying to explain.
There's a process to get it back. There's a process.
There is no process. If your money is forfeited, there's
that's
literally
not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
There's literally a documentary on this.
No, that's not true. That's not true, Ayo.
Unless
That's
you
not
have
true.
money, unless you have money to go to court, you can get your stuff back. Maybe a majority might not got their stuff back. If you got money to pay for the court fees, you'll get them back. What you're saying is lying. And on top of that, if someone did,
can you answer my question, please?
Hold on. Even if somebody came today as a witness and said that they seen Tinubu did these things, people still won't believe it. So
Okay,
it doesn't
but
make a
where is
difference.
this person though? At least have one person show up. I mean, I don't know for a fact that Bill Crosby raped anybody, but enough people came out to make it credible. Why aren't we seeing the same thing with this
Ayo,
dude? Was he just working
Ayo.
alone?
Ayo, what you're doing is, here's how I know you don't like the truth, because you try to tell this man that even Nicky Barnes, that's urban legend.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't seem to know a lot of things. You just keep talking.
Exactly, and
Hold on. If you get busted, for example, right? You have 10 grand on you, and they confiscate the money. They think is drug money, whatever, and you're like, no, it's my tax return, right? They'll take it. You can literally recover that money again if you bring. Hold on, you can bring the proof that this is, in fact, that's what it is. I just told you about the guy with the 60 grand. He forfeited it because he was actually a drug dealer. So the pattern is, the people who tend to be the drug dealer, they would take that. They would accept giving up the money and not follow through so that they don't get charges. That's how it is. Simple as that.
Afridemos, can I ask you a question, please? If let's agree with what you're saying, let's assume we're agreeing with you 100%, right? This man has a lot of enemies who didn't want him to become the president. He had enemies when he was governor. He had enemies when he became the head of his party. He has been a kingmaker for how many years? Nigerians won't care about the money forfeiture, but they will definitely care if someone comes out to say, I knew Tinubu when he was dealing drugs. And with the bottomless pockets that politicians have, how have they not been able to bring out any?
Thank you. At least bring out one person.
That's just the question.
Ma'am, I know this. Hold on. Let me say this. It seems like, you guys operate in a different universe. These are documented things. You are asking. Hold on. I don't know why those people did not come up. I'm just telling you what the process is. You are asking me why. Hold on. You can ask me about why I'm not the emperor of China. It's because I'm not. So I don't know why they didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Don't just run with everything you're told.
I'm not saying that. He's a drug dealer. I don't have. But the way you explain it, if that's how things went, then yes, if there's smoke, there's fire.
Can I ask you one thing though? Because people investigated to this guy to the point that they went to the school where he went to go find out if he actually went to that school. They went to try and find out things about his first wife. They've investigated his life to the end. So if there is actually someone who knows this thing, are you saying someone like Atiku, who has been running elections since 1993?
I am not the one saying he is.
No, I'm not saying you. We're just talking now. I'm saying if there is someone who knows this thing, honestly, I will encourage that person to contact Atiku. That man has bottomless pockets.
Exactly.
He will pay. He will pay so much for you to come out and say.
Ola, this whole story came from David Hundeng, and unfortunately, when Nigerian press and just the Nigerian sort of like social media bandits got hold of it, they misinterpreted what they read. I don't even think David himself understood, because he doesn't understand how things work in the States.
He's apologizing for a lot of things he did.
He doesn't. I don't think he understood. I don't think he understood what he was reading. He saw forfeiture. He tied it with maybe an associate of his, and the U.S. government they don't need you to be guilty of a crime. If you're an associate with someone for whatever reason who is a known criminal and they feel the money you have could have been illicitly obtained, they will take that money from you. And that's the end of the story. And the reason
Trump knowing that
and the
Tinubu is
reason
a
he
drug
wasn't
dealer
tried
and
was
has
because they had no
proof.
evidence. You really
we
think
know by now?
So you're trying to tell me? So you're trying to tell me someone that get caught with $400,000?
he didn't get caught with $400,000? It was taken from his bank account. So here we go again.
It was in his account.
It was taken from his bank account. He wasn't caught with. He wasn't hiding under his pillow. So we should just end this story because it's getting really. It's almost. It's. I don't know, man. It's just super. It's ridiculous.
If anyone comes across this and they have evidence, please contact Atiku.
She has her perspective. Even if today someone came in and said that, hey, I seen Tinubu, you will still be saying the same thing. So it doesn't make a difference.
Well, it doesn't bring the receipts though. Bring the person.
Okay, but like I said, even if someone came today and say, hey, I saw with my 2 eyes that Tinubu did this, you'll be still saying the same thing. So it does not matter. You say, oh, well, you have photo evidence.
But once again, and this is and this is our disease. This is why we would leave a great religion like Ifa that has so much knowledge and wisdom, and we'll go and convert to Islam and Christianity. This is the same sort of thinking that got us to where we are.
Stop deflecting. Let me guess.
It's just accepting without interrogation.
Let me guess something. Let me guess. You and this lady, you guys are probably same tribe as Tinubu.
Yeah, because this is
there you go. There you go. Now everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. This is what is destroying Africa. There you go. There you go.
You know what's funny?
Tribal allegiance. There you go.
Because you shouting over me doesn't make you correct. It actually makes you sound childish because
everything makes sense. Everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense. Everything makes sense now.
Here we go.
Everything makes sense.
Listen, I was a Peter Obi supporter throughout the electoral period. Throughout the elections, I was a Peter. It was people like you.
Yeah, there you go.
Go and check my Twitter.
Everything makes sense now.
Check my Twitter. Go and check my Twitter from 3-4 years ago and tell me. I have no reason to lie to anyone. No one. You don't pay my bills. Why on earth would I come here and start lying to anyone? It's people like you, very low IQ. People who just view everything
look at the name calling.
It's true. Who just view everything from an ethnic prism.
Don't
and you've pretty much exposed yourself right now with that. Your last comment. Everything for you is ethnic first, and then critical thinking next. So it's almost like I'm trying to explain to a toddler. Because you don't have the infrastructure to understand or think critically beyond your impulses, which are ethnic and religious. And there's so many people like you. And I
was able to observe.
I just want to say something though, because I just got called a tribal bigot in a weird way, which is so hilarious to me.
Well, that's the thing. You don't say something that aligns with their narrative. The next thing is, you're from the same tribe, so you must. That's why you support. Go and look at my Twitter and see how forceful a Peter Obi supporter I was.
I don't know. But I think, look, Afridemos, I think it's weird that you had no more argument, so you came with the fact that we are supporting it because of his tribe, even though we don't know your tribe. So it's a bit of a fallacy, but okay, sure, whatever. But the only thing I'm just going to say is it's not a winning argument. If people feel that they have the proof that Tinubu was a drug dealer, because politicians have been brought down for less. A woman was brought down because of her NYSC certificate. Another one was brought down for another silly reason. They've all been a lot of them have been brought down for stupid reasons. So I'm pretty sure if anyone has like someone who knew Tinubu in his drug dealing days, please contact Atiku, contact P2B, contact El Rufai, contact any of them. They will pay out of their nose. They will sell their houses to pay you, in fact, to get that man out of that place, because that is how much they want him dethroned. So if anyone knows that, please contact. At this point,
even if the guy, somebody came in, it doesn't matter. You'll be saying the same thing. You'll be saying,
No,
"Where's
Yeah.
the
the
pictures?"
people they are
You'll be
trying
saying,
to
"Where's the
convince
videos?
is not
Where's the
real,
Unless
though.
he was
evidence?"
prosecuted in a court of law, nobody's gonna take anybody's
Yeah, exactly. Bring the
testimony
court
But
as
documents.
the
Bring
other
no. But
people
bring
I
the court
mentioned now
documents.
are
I'm
never
saying
got
on
to
the
Public
court
point
public
before.
record.
of him being caught. I mean, like it just no drug dealer's gonna come out and say, yeah, he sold me 3 bricks of heroin. No,
So
nobody's gonna
bring out
say
the
that.
court records,
They would
though.
be
No,
implicating themselves.
but I'm saying that like the people I mentioned, for example, never went into court. It was more about documents, someone saying, "Oh, this person I knew her at that time, she didn't do this or whatever." It's not like maybe it's just something that the opposition can spin into whatever narrative that they can spin. My only reason why I think this is a fallacy, to be honest, is that no one has been able to come out with any proof. Number one. Number two, this man has been investigated to the extreme, and still they have not been able to prove anything. If he was selling drugs and there's a proof, please contact his opposition. I'm pretty sure they would know how to use that information, whether there is a document, whether there is no document. In fact, if you just know anyone who can say, "I knew Tinubu at that point and he sold me drugs," they should please come out and make good money for themselves, because that is what is going to happen. Whether it's going to yield to him being removed or not, the opposition will still pay for that information. It's just weird to me that no one has been. If someone on this space can just say, "Oh, I know someone who knew him at that time," meaning a lot of people knew him. Because it's a strange thing that someone on this space actually said they knew him. He's someone who knew him when he was doing this thing. So please, if
No
you
one
know,
did
let
not say
someone
that they
know.
knew them. They said that they
I
knew
thought
other
someone said
people
they
that
knew
knew him.
someone who knew him at the
No
time.
one never said that.
Confused.
Nobody did not say that.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong.
They're notorious as heroin connects out here, but I mean, no, you're not gonna get anybody that he dealt with to come on the internet or even to a governmental entity saying that he sold them any type of drugs, because they would
Even
be
for
implicating
millions and
themselves.
millions of dollars, they would not do it. For
No,
millions and
but
millions.
again, he was under investigation. I'm not. I mean, he wasn't tried in court, so it's not. There's nothing from a governmental aspect that you can use against him. Because again, even if you do find somebody that's willing to say he sold him some bricks of heroin, that's not going to be admissible because he didn't get tried. So it's
Yeah, but
just
they're not trying to
hearsay.
try him now, though. They just want to ruin his political career. So if the person just says it alone, it should be enough. I don't think the
No,
person is doing
that's not
anything.
going to
No,
be
it's not
enough.
going to be
That's
enough
not
because
going to
it'll
be
be
enough.
No, I mean for
speculation.
people who are going to
Yeah, that's
pay,
hearsay.
they will.
It's
Yeah, a
hearsay.
lot of hearsay destroys politicians now. Did we
No,
see
I
Bill
mean,
Clinton or
Yeah,
Monica
this
but that's
Lewinsky?
what
y'all are claiming this right here is hearsay, so no, it doesn't.
right. It doesn't matter because, like I said, someone could come today and say he did this. They're like, he's lying. We don't believe him. It doesn't matter. It'll be
Yeah,
speculation.
but has politicians not been brought down because of something someone said they saw them do? Has
Unless you
never
have
happened.
definitive proof, there's be
So,
speculation.
you know,
Talk about
when you look
you
at
talk about back in the 90s.
when you look
They
at
didn't have cell phones taking
hold on,
pictures.
let me say something. When you think about Nazi Germany back in the days, you know, they believed in Hitler's, you know, they were so loyal to the Aryan message to a point, right? If you know whatever you say about Hitler, they don't believe it, even though the Russians are like close to the gate to blow them up. But because Hitler said it's not true, right? They were so loyal to a point, they believed it. Have you guys noticed there's two things happening here? When we talked about when there is proof documented, you know, out of Tinubu's own mouth, you know, there are, you know,
Tinubu
partnership
admitted he
with
was a drug
Let me
dealer.
finish. Let me finish. She's cutting me off. You know, everything that we know to be true, documented, right? To show that they have partnership. You know, Nigeria now is the partner of France. You know, we have this proof is out here. This woman still deny, right?
Because of my
Oh,
tribe
let me
again.
finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Deny. The only way this woman is going to learn is when the war actually hit and see smaller African nations coming together against them. That's when she would understand what is really going on. She doesn't even know that it's right here. But because she's so much into her tribe thing, you know, the man that is orchestrating this is her tribe's member. You know, she does not care, you know, about, even though her tribesman is unleashing hell, but she would rather support him because they are the same tribe.
Right.
She doesn't get what is going on. Okay, we are
Afrodemos,
wasting our
can
time.
I
But
ask you a question?
ma'am,
Since
I
you're
give
trying to
you. Hold on, I
convince
Yeah,
give
me,
you. Hold
I'm
on,
just
I
asking
give
you a
you.
I guess
Hold
they
on,
question.
say
ma'am,
if you're a
ma'am.
hammer, everything looks like a nail. So this guy is
Ma'am, if
tribal and
we hold on,
every
hold on, if
single.
we hold on, ma'am, I wish that we would, I pray that we are still here, in the next 2 years, right? I hope we meet again online and rehearse this.
I
And
say,
you, even if you don't see me, hold on, even if you don't see me, when the bombs start flying, you would remember
there will be no
Afridamus.
bomb.
You would remember,
Afrodemos,
hold on, you would
can I ask you
remember
a question, please?
Afridamus said this. Afridamus said
Can
this.
I ask you a question? You said from Tinubu's own mouth, he admitted that there was a partnership with France against other
Ma'am,
Africans.
it's
Can
right.
we see a
Can you read?
video where he
Do you know
said
how
it?
to read, ma'am? Do you know how to read?
I can read. Can you share a
Okay,
document where he
okay,
wrote
okay.
it?
Hold on. No need to be lazy. When you get off this phone,
You said you
get
have it.
online.
I just know.
Hold on. No. Because maybe
Not
if
to
I give
just
it,
shed something on the
hold
chat.
on.
That's
Because
fair.
you
So
hold
thank
on.
you.
Let me finish. You are so much in the Kool-Aid. If I produce it, you might think I concocted it. But
Why would
when
I
you
think
sit,
that?
hold on,
Juice
go
is
and
fair.
sit. Hold on, go and sit on the computer. Sit on the computer, type it in, do your own research, and see this
What
for
am I
yourself.
trying to find? Because you said two things. Sorry,
Nigeria's new
Let me ask
partner,
you.
Nigeria's
Let
new
me ask you.
partner,
No, let
France.
me ask you something. Two things. You
You
first of
keep
all said,
asking me things
I'm
when I
about to
answer,
ask
you
you
Afrodama,
the
don't
stop
know.
shouting,
question.
man.
Let me ask
Seriously,
you the
bro. Let
question
her
first.
speak.
So you
Oh,
said
okay,
first.
Mr. Tribesman.
Sure. You
All
said
right, guys,
first
let me pass. I gotta
that
pass to my
no.
Diallo.
Let me just ask
Yeah.
a question.
You got hold on, but hold on.
So,
But Diallo just came on. Let me let
okay.
Diallo. Then we'll do one more round to be close. I'll go Diallo.
Yeah, I think Dynish, you mentioned it earlier that his files are sealed, right? FBI, CIA.
Well, they got something happened. Like they got thrown out. They were gonna release it. Then they backed out.
Exactly. So there's a reason why. And in terms of like the money, so it's called civil asset forfeiture. If anybody travels, like I've traveled to Africa, when you come back in the country, they ask you, are you carrying more than $10,000 or equivalent in foreign currency? You say yes or no. You're supposed to tell them. If you tell them yes, they fill out the form on you and you go about your way. Same thing when you're leaving the country.
Diallo, if I could interject real quick.
So,
Hold on, Ola. Diallo, if I could, they got dogs now that will
Yes.
sniff for the money, which is crazy. But go ahead.
Listen, the only time I've ever come back carrying that kind of money is the only time they ever asked me if I had that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even leaving the country, you're supposed to tell U.S. Customs and Border Patrol when you're leaving, if you're at the airport, that I have such and such amount of money, and you're supposed to declare it. Nothing happens to you. They don't bother you. They just fill out the form and that's it. Now, if you go to the bank and you withdraw or you deposit more than $10,000, they're going to fill out a form. It's called a CTR, a currency transaction report. Again, they're just going to fill out the form. Now, the banks, they're supposed to do due diligence. They might ask you questions. If you're a regular customer and they know that, you have a check cashing business, then they know why you have that amount of cash. Or let's say you could be buying a car from somebody. They can ask you those questions. If they deem anything that you're doing suspicious, they will fill out what's called a suspicious activity report or a SAR. And that they'll fill out, like, let's say, like a lot of people think that you can't take more than $10,000 out of a bank in one day. So they'll go to like 4 different Bank of America branches and pull out 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. If you do that, they will fill out a SAR and they may even block your transactions. Now, in terms of riding around with, let's say you have $50,000 cash, yes, they can take it from you, but that's not the end of the story. You can get it back. Now you'll probably have to get a lawyer and fight for it or justify, how did you get that money? What kind of business you have, etc. And sometimes what they do is they will make deals with people. Sometimes if they catch you with money, or even if you're depositing money in banks, you know, under the $10,000 limit and you have $80,000, they might snatch, let's say it's 80,000, they might snatch the whole 80,000. You come with your lawyer and they might give you back 40, or they might keep the whole thing. It depends. It depends on the AUSA and, you know, the thresholds and what they're looking for. But just because they take the money doesn't mean that you can't get it back. Now, I'm not specifically familiar with his case, but for somebody to willingly give up $460,000,
he took them to court. He took the government to court. He didn't willingly give it up. See, this is another thing. The records that were released.
Hold on.
No, I'm just countering your point though, because you can't just.
So where are the court papers then?
Oh, exactly. So the information that's available is through David Hyundai, and he broke the story. It says so in his release. He did fight back. He didn't win, but he did fight back.
Why didn't he win? Because that means he couldn't prove where the money came from. That's why you would lose. Because if I have a restaurant, and because this happened to people, there's articles on people's. Hold on. There's articles on people driving down the highway. Hold on, bro, please. I've been listening to you all night. Please, just let me. I'm not going to go on a long tangent. I'm just explaining this. Please show some respect. Thank you. If a guy has a restaurant, he has $20,000 cash and he's driving down the highway, there have been instances where people have lost their business because they needed that money to pay a bill, to pay a rent, to pay a mortgage, to pay salaries. But if they can prove that that money was legitimately earned, they will get that money back. Go ahead.
Okay. So there's literally a TV show, a documentary, and I'm going to find the title for you right now, that touches on this topic. And there are hundreds of people who've had their money or who had to forfeit their money and they never got it back. And we're talking about legit money, legit business owners who had their money taken and didn't get back. Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to find the name of the, so this is
Hold on.
This is how you produce. Let me finish, bro. No. Let me finish. This is how you produce receipts.
Because I know David personally. I know David
in the chat so everyone can go look at it.
Hold on. I know David personally. I would hit him up after I get off here. I know David personally.
Why is this guy always talking about silly shit?
I know David personally. I'll hit him up and ask him.
For everyone to read. Yeah. You think he left some information that he didn't publish?
I'll ask him. No, don't worry. Maybe he'll put out more information after I talk to him.
He put out some more information? What are you talking about, bro? You think he kept some information back from his press release
David,
when he was
that hates
literally broke the story?
You're
not making any sense.
And kept it to himself. Why will he do
this
that?
This guy is so. I'm sorry, I don't want to insult you, man, but man, you're not a smart man.
Too late. You've insulted me many times. Here we go.
Can I ask Diallo a question, please? Diallo, I wanted to ask you something. If you were in Tinubu's shoes, which you're not, but let's assume you were, and people have this perception or idea about you, but there is no proof. But they keep saying it anyway, even though there is no proof. Do you think it's fair? Like, I'm not defending the man. I don't know if it's true or not, but it just seems strange to me that there is no proof and people keep saying this thing like it's fact. If it was you, would you be okay with it?
Well, if it was me, I would just tell the U.S. government to release the files. I would tell them to release the files. If it was me, I'd say, look, I have nothing to hide. I wasn't selling drugs. Here, let me tell Trump to please have the FBI or DEA release the files from that case in 1993. That's what I would do.
And he doesn't get involved with that because there was an equal. There was a similar case.
Sorry, let me just ask a follow-up question. Okay. Right. Like, for example, now, okay, I take that point. I don't know if he can do that or not. But do you think Trump knows? No, wait, Diallo, hold on. Do you think Trump knows? Let's assume this guy is a drug dealer. Trump is the president of the US. Tinubu and the US are not in the best of terms. And Trump knows he's a drug dealer. You don't see the possibility of him calling him out on Truth Social. Like, instead of saying a disgraced country or whatever, he's not going to say like the drug dealing president of wherever, whatever. You think he wouldn't have said that?
Ma'am, we don't know what's going on in Trump's mind. Maybe he doesn't care to do that. You keep asking questions. Look, what you're asking. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. Why would he say that? He doesn't need to.
All he need to show is
But he
how
said it
much.
about he
Hold
said it
on.
about the
What?
leader. He
Hold
said it
on.
about
What?
the Venezuelan leader, didn't he?
Hold on. What
Yeah,
Trump
yeah,
needs
he
to
did
Trump
actually.
Didn't
needed
he
to
say it about
prove.
the Venezuelan
Hold
leader?
on.
Yeah,
Hold
he
on.
did actually.
What he needed to prove, he proved it to the world
What did
that,
he need to prove?
meaning that, exactly what was going on in Nigeria. He doesn't need to
Which
go
is what?
into detail, which is, they're allowing, jihadists to run around. You guys call them bandits. Somehow you can get your own bandits, but, you can go to other country and bomb those people. We've heard your own, Minister of
And
Defense talking about,
you
hold on,
believe
hold
that
on.
Trump
Let me
proved
finish.
it?
Let the guy
Let
around
me
because he
let
doesn't
me
stop.
finish.
Just go
Let
ahead.
me
Yeah.
finish. We've all like I've watched, the Minister of Defense, talking about how they can't, bomb because they are in the forest. I've listened to a whole sheikh called Sheikh Gumi. Only in Nigeria you see somebody coming out telling you, yes, I negotiate with the bandits. They know where the bandits are, which is the terrorists, by the way. You don't know how to handle your own terrorism, but the countries that are doing it, you are aligning with those countries' enemy who are white French people. Pathetic. Pathetic.
Okay. Will you take a breath now so I can talk? Thank you. So, with regards to Shegumi is an asshole. So I don't even want to talk about the man. He's an asshole. I already said that before. I've said it many times. I think he needs to be in prison, and I personally believe he's going to be in prison. It's just a matter of time. Now,
You don't think that makes you a
like I
disgrace
tell you to
nation?
take
Come
a
on, man.
breath now. Take a breath. Oh God, why now? Take a breath. See now, you allowing my tribe to come out again, like you said, and accuse me. See, look, with regards to the minister, I believe you are referring to the statement they made around Sambisa. Sambisa is about the size of Belgium. How exactly are they supposed to blow up that entire place? I guess they will keep doing targeted strikes, which is what they're doing. I don't know what to say to you, man. I think your mind is made up. You believe we're in bed with France. I really hope you will prove it at some point to me, because I might be a willing person you would convince, so I can go around Nigeria selling this new message of yours that Tinubu has admitted that he's in bed with France against other Africans and he wants to kill other Africans for France. Please send the documents and the video of Tinubu saying these things like you said earlier, so that we can learn as well. Diallo, please, can you answer my question? I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't even remember your question. What was your
Okay.
question?
I think we were talking about the issue of the trial, and then you had talked about if you were him, you said you should release the document, and I think I asked you that oh shit, I can't remember my question either. So
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about him asking them to release the document. So there's a similar situation with people claiming that he didn't go to University of Chicago. Was it Chicago State University or something? And he didn't weigh in, and they actually took Chicago State University to court because I think Hyundai at the time had released something saying that he used a female's identity who
yeah,
graduated from
I
there, or
remember that.
something along those lines. And the university are typically, they don't like to spend money on things that don't sort of bring them more money. They had to go hire a lawyer. They had to take it to court. They had to prove and testify and bring receipts that, yes, he did graduate from there. So
I didn't even believe that, actually.
there was no point, but no one talks about that anymore because the university came out and said he was a student here and he graduated.
It wasn't answered. It wasn't answered. They did not prove it. Tinubu himself fought for it not to, hold on. He fought it. He fought it. Hold on. He fought it for it not to come out. Let's just tell the truth. Don't have truth. The file is sealed. Tell the truth, man.
You're saying Chicago State University he paid Chicago State University off to lie on his behalf.
No,
is that your argument?
Sir, if you ask for my information from my university, right, public information, I can go and fight it and and tell them that I can fight that and just say
Can you let me speak for a second?
hold on.
Please, just no.
You hold on. I'm telling you how information works.
You hold on.
I'm just telling you how information works.
Guys, I got a guy. Hold on, one mic. I gotta pass the mic to Nigel because we have to close out. Go ahead, Nigel.
Thank you, Dinah. Thank you for having me. Greetings to the panelists, the chat, and the viewers. I think for me, we have, because this whole topic has become so convoluted, you have to have baselines for what you are discussing. First of all, you know, Tinubu is not exactly an enemy of the West. He's quite aligned to a lot of them. And secondly, we also know that the West so often work with terrorist groups. Third, you also know that they've never really succeeded against any terrorist group. And fourth, there's always a possibility that it's not like just because you're working with the West, your country is going to have to suffer for it, because there are countries that work with the West that are doing well. Question is, what is Tinubu doing now that may be negative to us, or whether it is positive to us? Because I hear he's trying to work with the French more closely. To what end? Is he doing it, say, okay, to destroy every African country that tries to step out online, or bring them in line, in the sense that, okay, he will bring them in line for the West, but not aiding our progress? Or is he doing that to aid our progress? Because my argument was that he had an opportunity with the coup in Niger to make an argument that, okay, look at the situation of West Africa, look at the situation of many African countries, it's terrible. That you have to start enabling the environment so that they can start supporting Western interests. But to do that, you need to enable Africans and me, Nigeria, your allies, to actually develop, and who put the get the other nations in line in case they step out of line. That can happen because you can see that in many other parts of the world. So America works with Saudi Arabia just fine. If any country start to step out online, Saudi Arabia fights against them. Egypt, you see them in Japan, all of them, they do all these things. So it's not very clear to me right now what Tinubu is doing. But all I know is that some of the stuff he's done has not been positive to West African interests, or many African interests. So, but we really don't know. Most of what we are saying now is just speculation, really. We really don't know what's at the core of what Tinubu and the French are doing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, why do we even think? I mean, once again, this is urban legend. Why do we think Tinubu is working with the French? Because he's friendly with Macron? Because he goes there for his medicals? I don't understand. What has he done? What tangible act has he taken
I think it's because I think part of it
that
as
even
well.
suggests that he's working with the French? Because the best thing he could have done for the French was to force
invade
Niger,
Niger, and
was
he
to
was
force
under enough
Niger
pressure to do
back
that
into the
actually.
fold, and he didn't. So that just makes everyone's argument fall apart with this whole French thing. Once again, we go off on tangents, and then we
I do
refuse to
agree
let
with
go.
you, Niger, on one thing,
It's
which is
kind
that
of
Tinubu
weird.
is
It's so
someone
weird.
who plays his cards
We
to the
grab
best.
this
As in,
fictitious
he plays
bone
his cards
that
close.
no one has any proof about, and then we refuse to let it go.
I think what is happening is that many of these cool nations, they are acting as opposition party to the so-called democracies. If you look at all the democracies, they're all behaving like one-party states where the leaders get into office, they want to turn it to a lifetime presidency so that they can cement the interests of the West for decades to come. Sorry,
look
let
at
me just finish.
Guinea-Bissau.
Let me just finish. The idea is that because they know the African continent is on the move, what they want to do now is have leaders that will cement the interests of the West in place for decades to come. And because of that, a lot of people are feeling like, okay, you are trying to suffocate us here, and you're getting a lot of pushback. And these military regimes, if you look at Nigeria now, it's practically a one-party state. One of the governors have just jumped to the ruling party again. The Benin Republic president, he said he was going to run for one term. He wanted to change the constitution so that it just be 5-year term. But now he's been there for at least going to 9 years, and he wants to run again.
I think they have an election next year, though.
Exactly, he wants to run again. He's not even supposed to run again. They keep changing the constitution, these so-called democracies, so that they can cement the interests of their Western puppets.
In terms of that, I do agree that there are some people who refuse to leave. Like what happened with Guinea-Bissau, the guy basically called a coup on his own country, so he wouldn't leave because he lost an election, which is stupid as far as I'm concerned. But in the case of Tinubu at the moment and what he's doing with, I agree with you, he's very aligned with the West. I don't think France is the only problem on the African continent. We are seeing what is happening with the UAE and the war they are fighting, you know, in also in Sudan and some other places. We are
They
seeing
are
what is
all
going on
aligned.
with the US. They are
All of them,
exactly,
UAE,
even
America,
including the
all of them, and
US,
France, they're
the
all
UK,
aligned.
they are all along, they are all part of these issues. So that's my thing. Like, there was something, I think it was Jax that said earlier, I was going to talk about it, but I kind of got distracted with the back and forth we were doing with Afridemos. But the thing though is, like, the question around arms. Remember when the issue of Boko Haram started, and they were Jonathan was trying to shut them down. He couldn't, because Obama was not going to sell us arms, and we couldn't buy arms from other people because that would mean that we are enemies of the West. I think African countries are in this very weird conundrum where there are arguments and fights being had, you know, that they are not even a part of in some cases, like what is going on with China and Africa, and the US on the African continent at the moment, you know, what is going on with Russia, and all of those things. And then we are kind of like the grass under their feet that they are stomping on because they want to get to the resources. But at the same time, we are also facing lots of destabilization, in part because there are people destabilizing some of these countries because they want to get at those raw materials, and because they don't want those raw materials to be developed within those countries as well. Because, for example, if Congo gets their act together, who is going to pay more for an iPhone, or who is willing to pay more for those diamonds or things like that? But then we are also seeing a situation. Look at what is happening in Nigeria, for example. The US in some parts have refused to sell weapons to Nigeria when it needed those weapons to fight Boko Haram. But at the same time, now, if they approach, I think they were trying to approach other countries, and that led to the anger of I think they were trying to buy some weapons from China, I think, and that kind of also led to a lot of the drama we saw with Trump. Not that there were no other issues that led to that as well, but I just feel like we are in this weird conundrum, and I think that narratives that pit Africans against each other in ways that are unrealistic is very unfair. It doesn't lead us anywhere, and practically we are just doing the work of the West for them at this point. Like this idea that Nigeria is against Africans and they are trying to fight other Francophone West Africa for France is basically doing the work of the West. Because the truth of the matter is that is not even true. Nigeria has subsidized Niger for years. In terms of roads, build them roads, buy them weapons and all kinds of stuff. They've done that for years. And the part of the reason why Nigeria didn't intervene with the pressure that France put on ECOWAS, put on Tinubu directly at the point, I even thought they were going to, but part of the reason why they didn't was because you had people in the north saying, these are our brothers, we've lived together for so long, we are intertwined and entangled. Now, was that the right thing to do or not? I don't know. But I think it's just an unfair narrative to say that this thing is happening because, Tinubu is a puppet of the West, or this country is against that country. I think we're just playing the games that they want us to play, and we are refusing to see the picture, which is that this is a struggle for resources.
One of the things I'm noticing in Africa is that there's always this thing that the way they govern the states, to govern it so it never grows.
Yeah.
And I watched Tinubu come into office when Nigeria had a GDP of $477 billion. And within a year or so, he reduced it to $180-something billion.
Did he not have? I don't think he had a choice but to rebase the issue.
No, he had a choice. He had a massive choice. Sorry, let me finish talking. Let me finish talking, please. Because the reason why he had a choice.
What choice did he have?
Let me make it clear. Let me make it clear why he had a choice.
What was the choice?
He had the fuel subsidy that he had to remove, which would have given him extra financial wiggle room. He had Dangote refinery coming on stream, which have provided more this in foreign exchange. That foreign exchange, because petroleum purchase, it takes about 30% of our foreign exchange. So Dangote refinery, one of the largest refineries in the world, is coming on stream in his own country in his term, something that many Nigerian presidents would have killed for. What did he do? He went and sabotaged the Nigerian currency before Dangote refinery came on stream. And hold on. And do you know how much they've spent defending that same currency this year? It's now, by this time, it's almost $8 billion they've spent. So what is the point of even floating the currency and still defend it?
Well, okay, you can't.
Can I say something just because I work in economics to Nigeria? So with regards to the currency, I remember at some point, before Tinubu came on board, while Buhari was still there. And there were lots of conversations with Buhari before things got so bad with the currency situation, to say to him that he needed to remove the peg on the currency, but he didn't listen because Buhari is very stubborn. He's a very stubborn person, and they kept defending it. There were people who became billionaires, not in Naira, in US dollars, by one way, not billionaires, but millionaires of multiple digits, through the CBN. He kept defending it. And then by the time he was leaving, I remember at that time we would bid for jobs. And when you're trying to implement those jobs, the exchange rate was so astronomical. At some point, I was changing, as much as almost 2,000, a little bit above 2,000 to $1. So it was really crazy. I think by the time Tinubu came in, first, there was no money in the budget to even pay for this subsidy. So the subsidy had to go. That was why they all agreed to remove it on one side. On the other side, I also think that the idea of allowing the Naira to free float, it came with shocks to the economy, yes, but I don't think they had a choice but to do that, because as long as we were in that very weird situation, and even at that time when we're speaking to a lot of investors and speaking to people, even of other countries who were in the market, a lot of people's complaints was, we had invested into this market. We can't pull our money back out because we couldn't get, we couldn't get dollars from the CBN because the CBN was basically trying to manage a float that was unrealistic. So I don't think he had a choice, to be fair about that.
Okay.
I think that was one of the things.
I'm glad I'm having this conversation with somebody that can understand economic okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Tunaja, let me just say, so a lot of people, once again, just like we normally do, everyone just likes to chime in, but no one really understands or doesn't seem like they're not. I don't know. I'm not saying I understand it more than anyone else, but I know at least a couple of things for a fact. So when Buhari left and Tinubu took over, our net reserves was $3 billion. Our net reserves was $3 billion. He used, I think, anywhere between 40 and 60 for his entire tenure, $40 and $60 billion defending the Naira. Or sort of like trying to peg it to the dollar, just wasting money for no reason. Now, clearly, there wasn't enough foreign exchange to pay investors and have people sort of like extract their money from the system. And Tinubu had no choice. Our country was on the brink of bankruptcy. And I think everyone knows that. So he had to stop the fuel subsidy and he had to immediately float the Naira so that it assumed its true value. Now, and that's when our GDP cut in half, because obviously it was less than 1,000 naira per dollar, and then he floated it and it immediately went to 2,000. So that's half your economy, and that's where it went from 400 billion. Let me finish. That's where it went from 400 billion to 200 billion. Now it's finding its true value. Our net reserves is $43 billion. From $3 billion, it's up to $43 billion. He has paid off certain loans. Everyone who had money trapped in the system, foreign investors that had money trapped in the system, were able to extract their money. But somehow we feel like that was a bad choice and that was a bad decision. He didn't have a choice. So please go ahead and tell me where I'm wrong.
Let me clarify. You see, this is why the way we do our numbers should be very, very meticulous and not be biased and based. First, when he took the fuel subsidies off, the financial wiggle room that was given to him, he destroyed it immediately by floating the currency, thereby necessitating his subsidizing the petroleum price again. One, by floating the currency, the price of petrol would have gone up to 1,500 naira per liter, because the actual price of petrol in the international market is almost about $1.something, isn't it? So why did you think the petrol price in Nigeria remained at 600 something naira? He spent more than $8 billion defending it again, subsidizing petroleum.
Defending the subsidy or defending the dollar?
No,
those are two different things.
Subsidizing the petroleum first. Subsidizing the petroleum. I'm just dealing with that one first.
Are you talking about the deal they had with Dangote?
No, not with the Dangote. This is the real one that the NNPC had to pay. You remember the next year NNPC said they were owing almost $8 billion.
Yeah, but was that not a carryover though?
It's not a carryover.
I do get your point that there was a point where they were subsidizing petrol for a little while because people were complaining.
For a year at least. For a year
I think they did that. which I don't think it was necessarily wrong because people were really complaining about the cost of petrol.
Because he didn't need to float. If he hadn't floated the currency, he wouldn't have needed to do that.
Our currency at the moment.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish the point. I'm not finished the point I'm making. Because
go ahead.
Let me finish the point I'm making. Because one, they have an administrative problem. They pretended as if it was a policy problem in terms of actually enforcing that the fact that the black market was going on to make exorbitant profit with the pegged currency. So they pretend as if that is the real problem with the Nigerian economy. Because how do you think Tinubu plugged it? Do you think he plugged it because he floated it? No, the problem would have remained because they passed a law to stop it. They passed a law to prevent the the Bureau de change to be able to make more than 1% profit. Did you know that?
That was the
hold on. Let me finish my point.
I'm not stopping you. I just wanted to just clarify something to you very quickly, please, so I don't forget. I think that part of what happened with the Bureau de change is the fact that the Naira has found this level. So it's not financially profitable.
That's why they needed to pass the law at the same time. You see, don't be believing
what about the law.
Look at the numbers. Okay, let me finish my point.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I work in economics and I know.
You are stopping me from making my case.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the point is that they had to pass a law to stop the Bureau de change from going ahead to make profit. In other words, what just happened is Nigerians were kind of short-circuited the process and making profit out of it. But guess what has happened instead of under Tinubu's government? They stopped the Nigerians from making money out of it. Instead of the international speculators are the one making all the money now. Hold on.
No, he stopped forex arbitrage.
Please, just slow down. You won't let me finish because you don't want to hear the maths.
You said he stopped.
Let me finish the maths. Because this current year, their estimation by middle of this year, they've already spent $4.2 billion defending the currency.
That's not now compared to what Buhari spent.
You just said Buhari spent $60 billion for 8 years. So what is the difference? 8 times 6.
No, I didn't say in 8 years. It wasn't in 8 years. You can go look it up now.
What year? What year are you talking about? You just said throughout 2 years. That's false. There's no year they spent up to.
Look it up.
No, I've looked it up. There is no year Buhari government spent this in more than $30 billion, not even close to defend the currency. No year. Most of the years actually it was even less than 10 billion.
Listen,
we are dealing with now. Sorry. Let me finish my point. Because you see, people should be listening to this because so you can understand why our country have problems and our people can't even see it.
But you just keep on misinforming people, though.
Everything I've said is a fact. They've spent.
But the thing is, you're on what basis? You say he introduced the law stopping the Bureau de changes from making a profit. Of course, that's the purview of the central bank. There is no country in the world where you can arbitrage.
Why didn't they do that
arbitrage currency like they did in Nigeria. You're making it sound like a bad thing.
My point is that I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying why didn't he do that instead of floating the currency? You see my point. He didn't need to float the currency when he did.
He has to outlaw a crime. He has to outlaw a crime and then float the currency so that I can find its true value. This is what a central bank does.
See, the illusion that a currency can find its true value is false. The only thing governments do is they limit the demand for the currency and they control the supply. You have to do that, but they didn't even bother controlling the demand of the currency. If anything, they are even increasing demand. But no, demand is why the naira depreciates in value. The demand of the dollar is the cause.
No. Can I explain something to you? The issue is not the demand on the dollar. At that point, the issue was there was an arbitrage in the market. And what that meant was that it wasn't reasonable for any business person to hold on to the naira because you were not sure what you were meeting the next day. That was the level we were at. And so a lot of people now went for the dollar, meaning that if you had any money, you change it to the dollar. If you had any money, you change it to the dollar because you were at least certain of what that was. And so that's
Is it not their job to reduce the demand?
This was
central bank's job.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
It's the central bank's job.
But they didn't do it. But they
No
pretend
way.
as if it's
Tonight,
floating the
that
policy
is
that will solve the
not
You see,
problem.
this is what happens.
hold on.
He's not.
Let me explain to you
He's
so you
talking
can
to
listen to
respond.
me.
He's not talking to understand. So it
What
doesn't
I'm
matter
trying
how
to
much you
explain,
try to
You are
what
explain
I'm
not
to
trying
him.
listening. You are not listening. I'm
no
asking the
tonight,
pertinent question.
Hey,
Why
guys,
will you
guys,
take
we're
plug
hey
that
guys,
gap?
we're gonna close out in 8 minutes.
Man,
So
okay.
this is a
Oh,
very, very
can
serious
I say my
conversation.
closing
This is a very,
statement
very
and
serious
leave?
conversation
Is that
because
you
many
again,
Nigerians don't understand
David?
their own economy.
Tonight, let me say my closing statement and leave.
Well, tonight, the only
Okay,
thing I'm just
okay,
sorry, I'm
people,
just gonna say
people.
one thing to tonight,
Hold
and then
on,
I'm gonna stop
I'm
talking.
leaving, ma'am. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen of the African,
This
diaspora and everywhere, you guys have heard it. So pretty much, thank you to Niger for coming. You are seeing all the conditions are right for, their countries in big trouble economically. So
Yes.
that means all of us are up for sale. So they've proven my point. This is why Macron is able to call and say, bomb that place,
Okay.
So, and then
Thank you.
Nigeria will do it, right? So, they've proven my point. So you guys have heard it. They will bomb your country and then they're gonna gaslight you.
Yes, you are
What
correct.
they
Thank
let
you.
they let the terrorists run around. You've heard it too. And if they prove that,
Thank you. Thank you. Can
hold
someone
on,
else
let me
speak?
finish.
He
Let me
said he
finish.
has 8 minutes.
You
You're gonna
see
use
it,
the
you
entire 8
see it,
minutes.
you see
Exactly.
that you guys are seeing that tribalism is a hell of a drug.
The only
So
person who is
you
tribalist
can.
on this space is
So
you.
this is
You literally
hold
tell
on.
people by
This
their
is this
tribes,
is
and
this
nobody
is what
knows
is.
yours.
Hold on, let me finish. This is what is happening. So right now, Nigeria is the enforcer of France in West
Oh,
Africa.
Jesus.
Guys, you
Okay,
are
thank
seeing
you.
it.
Thank you.
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by what they are saying.
Let
That's
someone else
what's
speak,
going on.
man. Tonight,
Thank you.
please say prove your
Teenager, I'm not
continue
trying
with
to
what you were
stop you
saying.
with what you're saying. I'm just going to encourage you to look into it a bit more. The only reason why I know a lot more about this is just because I remember the amount of work we did at that time trying to stop Buhari and how much we tried to lobby him to basically change the policy. I think what we had initially was the fact that we had a CBN governor who basically abandoned his duties in Emefiele, which is why I have no sympathy for him now that he's in prison, because he abandoned his duty and he allowed the economy to fall apart. Politicians will do what politicians always do, but if you work under military policy, you cannot allow the economy to fall apart because it is the citizens that will suffer. I think what Cardoso is doing now, I think Cardoso is on the right path. I think that Naira had no choice. We had no choice. It had to find its value, and which is why we are seeing investors come back into the market now. In terms of people betting on the Naira, people bet on all kinds of currency, so that's not a shocking information for me. But I think that you should, just look into it a bit more. That's just what I'm going to say, because Dynas is about to wind up. The last thing I'm going to say before I keep quiet is around what's the name of this guy that just left? Look, Nigeria is not looking to bomb any African countries. I think we should be very careful by some of these statements and rhetorics. The only thing it does is just puts us into the hands of those who are puppeting African countries, and then we now want to fight each other instead of facing the actual problem that we have, which is kind of weird. But much love to everyone. And yeah, this has been a good conversation. This is actually my first time spending time on your space, Diners, and this was really fun. It was a very good conversation. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and the guy in the comments saying that I'm an agent. Listen, I don't know where you're getting that from, but the thing is, I don't have to jump on a bandwagon just
Never
because
read the comments. Never.
No. It's funny because this guy is just going. He's an agent. What agent of what? The thing is, we do have a lot of foreign forces, obviously trying to create chaos in Africa, because that's the only way they can get resources for cheap. There's a really good book by John Perkins, and I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen it or read about, The Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It pretty much spells everything out. This guy was an ex-CIA agent whose job was to sort of like go to third world countries, Latin America and Africa and where not, and force the leaders to somewhat capitulate so that they can get whatever it is they wanted to get at a cheap price. When that didn't work, then they create chaos, whether it's terrorism or destabilize the economy or encourage coups. So yes, so that is part of it. That is a huge part of it, and that's probably where our energy needs to go, instead of fighting each other and start saying, coming up with ridiculous things like you're supporting this guy because he's from your tribe, or you're supporting that person because they're from your religion. Our problems are huge, and the powers that be really want us to keep on arguing with each other so we don't keep them at bay, because I can tell you the issue that's going on within Africa is 10% of what's it called, our risk exposure. The main issues we have are the power players that are in the West that want to keep these resources coming for cheap. If we have a functioning, working society, there's absolutely no way they won't have to buy these resources at market price, and that's what they're scared of. So much love to everyone, and sorry for anyone who I may have insulted, but the thing is, there's more than one side to every story, and every sort of like event has multiple interpretations or perceptions. There's just many ways to view a lot of things. So good night, guys.
So my take on this is that I fear that your opinions are colored by the part of Nigeria you come from, and this is the problem with sometimes when discussing objective truths, because some people, there's a reason why they excuse doctors from operating on family members, because they are not objectively medicine oriented because of that. See what this, because everything else people discuss, you try to be very rational, but apart from the Nigerian situation and the economy, clearly you have to disabuse yourself of your support for the current administration and actually look at the numbers that I'm spelling out here. No, you are reacting again. Like I said, this is it. You need to everything I've told you is true.
Well, I think
everything I've told you. Let me finish.
I actually
you've had your say. You've had your say. You've had your say. I'm not. Sisi. Whatever you are saying, I'm telling you, you are not looking at the facts. And if I'm going to excuse you, I'm going to say many Nigerians don't even look closely at this. Go and check everything I've told you. Most of all this nonsense they tell you about, oh, we didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. There is no nation in this world. Do you know that? Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying, please. If you already have your say, let me finish what I'm saying. I've already given you the option. I've already told you the option. Okay, I'll repeat that again. There is no nation in this world at peacetime, not under sanction, where their GDP has been collapsed to this point by one administration within a year. No.
So what's the option now?
If you start for it in the world, it's never happened. Now, let me tell you the solution. The option was remove the fuel subsidies and wait the Dangote refinery to come on stream while you pass the law to reduce the profit that the Bureau de Change is making, so that they don't keep making a lot of profit when they buy currency from the central bank. Then discourage. Oh no, hold on. You ask for the solution. I'm listening to you. Then discourage the use of foreign currency in the country. Maybe you too as leaders, because Nigerian leaders often save money using foreign currency. Discourage the use of foreign currency. Stop importing useless stuff that doesn't benefit the economy. Only import stuff that is critical to the economy, so that Nigerians can start manufacturing the others. These are the kind of things you do to transition. It's not a wish list. It's a realistic thing. Because do you know that? Hold on.
Pass laws and you criminalize crime.
You finish talking. See, because they went on to do it, but they didn't, and they half-heartedly did it later on. They did it after a year or two of being in the office. That's when they start saying, "Oh, you should use Nigerian currency. You should not."
You know, there is a law in place. You can't actually spend foreign currency in Nigeria. It's been a law for a very long time.
But you are supposed to discuss, because as a parent, if you have a certain amount of money, you don't encourage your children to be spending, to be ordering for things that you cannot afford.
To do that, though? How do they stop people?
Because you discourage buying. See, if somebody wants to use money to pay for their students' tuition fees, tell them to go and make their own foreign currency. If they want to buy rubbish stuff that doesn't benefit the Nigerian economy, tell them to go and use their own.
Yeah, but that was what was happening on that Buhari, wasn't it? We were subsidizing people buying weave-ons and all sorts of things.
Let me finish my point now. You are asking for solution. I want to give you solution. Then the biggest one is when Dangote refinery was coming on stream, your job was negotiate with any IOCs or whatever system that you need to negotiate to ensure that Dangote gets the crude oil and supplies the Nigerian market, so that we don't have to be demanding a lot of dollars, because most of the petroleum products that we are importing to the country, that's where the demand of the pressure of the dollar is coming from.
For Dangote, he was the first person that did that. Now,
hold on. My point is that was last year. That was just last year that this happened.
To him in Naira.
That was last year. It took a long time, and they were going up and down. Till today,
How long has he been in office? Is it not like 2 years?
Do you know Dangote is still importing petroleum from America? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, of course.
He's still importing Dangote. He's still importing petroleum from crude oil from America. So
Yeah,
my
he's
point is that
importing part of what he's refining from
my point
America,
is that
Brazil, and some other places.
now you see,
but is
now
that
you
not
see
part
that.
of? Yeah, but that's because some of our crude
Let
has
me
been
you ask for a
sold
solution.
ahead
I'm
now.
giving you the solution. You are just disagreeing for the sake of it.
I'm
My
not
point is that
disagreeing with you. There are things you said I agree with.
Can we make our last point so we can get out of here?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think, yeah. I'm gonna drop because
Hold on.
stopping
Okay, Tunaj, you got 30 seconds, Tunaj.
Thank you. So there are very simple measures they could have taken to avoid the Nigerian currency collapsing. And this is the thing: many Nigerians can't see it when it keeps happening. This from 1999 to date, all our leaders keep telling us, "Oh, be patient. We are going to fix the country." They keep running the country to the ground over and over again systematically. This is what they are doing. And when Dangote came on stream, I was saying that, what is this government going to do to damage Dangote refinery? Maybe this is this, with this Trump threatening Nigeria, and maybe there might be a war coming to Nigeria for all we know, or a kind of civil war that might kind of go on in Nigeria to ensure that there's no progress in that country. This is the thing that has been holding us down for decades, and we need to see that our leaders are betraying us repeatedly. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.